Hello, hello, Twitch chat. Welcome to this fantastic June Nova Cup. Joining me on the cast today is Offma. Hello, hello, welcome to the stream.
Hello.
And
Thank you.
Offma, we have got one hot tournament ahead of us this month, and that is no cap just because of the weather. It is literally a billion degrees over here in the UK. I don't know what it's like where you are.
It's not too bad. Not too bad.
Very good, very good. We can trade, perhaps, because I am melting over here. Clowns are not made for the heat, I'm afraid. But so I did promise a shout out this month to all of the real ballers who finally hit legend in June. You know, real men take their time, after all. So that's players like me, Marek Parik, maybe some others. But yeah, we did it, man. We got to legend, and it
Congrats.
only took 6 months. So that's
That's not
pretty
so
good.
bad.
And I heard
I'll
you're
see
well on your
you.
way as well, right?
Yeah, I'll see you in maybe November, December.
Absolute beast. That is the true AB that we come to expect from Offma. Uh, but Offma, so hey, enough about our ladder escapades. The first match that we have on show today is a pretty exciting one because this is the return of none other than El Waldo to the stage, the Nova Cup stage. I can't remember the last time we had L1 in Division 1, but he's back. He's been streaming Legion for the past week or so, and he's here in Division 1 to show us what he can do. He's partnered with none other than Shadowwings, so that's a pretty exciting duo. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's two players who I think both have quite like high peaks, but also can have some low lows.
Yeah.
So in a best of three, that kind of makes them pretty dangerous, especially, when we talk about like mastermind selections, Shadow is bound to have some unique ideas. So they can always be a threat, and should be exciting at least to watch them play.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Very, very roller coaster highs and lows for those guys. I'm sure you agree. Like we see the elo graph there for L1, and he's 3k 1 minute, and he's like 2.5k the next, and it's just back and forth, back and forth. I think probably similar for Shadow actually. It's quite interesting to see. But hopefully, if those guys are on their A game here today, they will be able to put up a fight because they have got absolutely no slouch as their opponent. It is X Crash that they're playing against in their first match. So that's X God and Ashton Butcher, multiple time Nova Cup winners. Even more times, obviously, making it to the semi-finals. Very, very strong tournament record for these two players. So that's going to be a really tough match for Shadow and L1. I think if I'm being brutally honest, I would favour X-God and Ashton for this one. And that's no shade on L1 and Shadow, that's just testament to how strong Ashton and X-God are as players. I don't think that they're insurmountable by any means. I think they've got a shot, but I think they're going to have their work cut out for them. So I'm excited to see what their strategies are. Are they going to go for sort of high risk, high reward plays? Because Shadow is a very clever, strategic kind of guy, right?
Yeah.
I think if he, well, I don't say if he thinks, because I think he will understand the way these things work. So I think he will probably realise that they are perhaps underdogs in the match and go for these very risky plays where if they work, they win you the game. And if they don't, well, okay, you were unfavoured anyway. So I'd be
Yeah.
really interested to see if they go for some Hail Mary plays and stuff like that. But we'll see. We'll see how things pan out. What are your
Yeah.
expectations?
I mean, I feel like you're definitely right that I think from Shadow and L1, I would expect to see some like longer saves early game,
Yeah.
and just try and get the game finished quickly because I mean, I would probably think Ashen is probably the best like individual. Like if you only look at one person's lane, it's probably Ashen who's going to be ahead, right?
Yeah.
So if you go into that late game situation, you're probably going to have a bad time against them. So I feel like a lot comes down to can they kill Xgod and Ashen early game, and what can Xgod and Ashen do to figure that out? Because Xgod's probably one of the best players at enabling Ashen. Not necessarily just doing the traditional way where we just starve them forever, but like defending Ashton, defending their own weak ways, figuring out a way to win the game even after that as well. So we'll see how the two teams match up in the early game because I feel like that'll be where everything happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. Very good. You could probably lower your camera a little touch, by the way.
Okay,
so we
let
can
me go
see
for that.
we can see above your chin.
All right, all right.
Very good, very good. Yeah, so I completely agree with that assessment. I think it's going to be really interesting to see whether their early saves play out, um, and whether they are able to shut down that Ashton problem. Because, like you say, if Ashton is left unchecked, he just pretty much always becomes, unbreakable wall
Yeah.
by the late game. So we'll see. We'll see. I think Shadow and L1 will have realised this. They always do their research. Um, and I think it'd be really cool to see how they want to play into that. So we're about to find out. It's about 5 minutes before the lobby begins. We do have some other interesting teams joining the tournament this month as well. So we have Fine pairing up with King Dans, who are also on this side of the bracket. So hopefully we'll get to see them play as well. What do you think about those guys as a team?
It could be spicy. I mean, Fine is always playing the game really smart, and is playing with, I guess, random people now. Not only with Poeted, like he played with Atrocity. I think he was planning to play within the hole, and now he's swapped to King Dance. And I mean, King, even though we know he gets his power from not playing Legion, so he told me he played 3 games of Totem Mask, so he's ready to go. Uh, but it should be interesting. I mean, even when he's slightly out of form, King is always still got his own way of playing the game. It always looks super smart, and he, finds his way back to the Nova Cup finals like every single time, even without playing the game. So definitely a dangerous team and probably one of the bigger threats to win.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, even though I don't think we've seen them playing together before in Nova Cup, these guys have a crazy number of trophies between them. So King Dance, I think, has the most Nova Cup victories of anybody, although Drakir might be catching on to his tails. And Fine has won a bunch as well, like mostly with Pavided, like you said, but I think he might have won with Atrocity as well. And so between them, they have a ton of first place finishes, and it's just one of those like superstar teams, right? Where you've got Fine and King Dance together, absolutely a team to watch. And yeah, it'd be really, really cool to see them. I assume we'll get to see them play in the second round of the day today.
Hopefully.
Unless there's a huge upset in round one, they should come through that one, and we'll see them in the winners match. So yeah, I mean, hopefully, have we got a lobby up yet for these guys?
Uh, let's see. Oh yeah, X God's game.
Cool. We can hop into that one then. But Offma, before we get into the game as well, I did want to ask your thoughts on the new masterminds. So obviously we have a completely new mastermind altogether, which is Scrapper, that lets you sell all of your towers for 80% all of the time. So that's a pretty interesting one. Have you got a chance to play with it?
I think I've played it like twice, and I've seen it in some of my games. I think people probably aren't using it very well. Like for me, I literally didn't even use it that much, like only to sell like tier ones or something to push a bit.
Yeah.
But I think it's a lot stronger in tournament play, or it should be strong. I don't know if it's actually good. Because playing 3 income is not easy. It's not like good, but there are other 3 income masterminds that are strong in tournament, like Kingsguard or something. But I would think that Scrapper is less valuable. The power in tournament would probably come from you are trying to force a wave where you have some answer that normally you can't get to, and then you whip out the huge tier 6 out of nowhere to hold. But I think so that's why it's better in tournament than in solo queue, where people are a little more income heavy, a little less coordinated, so it matters less one person holding. And oftentimes solo queue, you just like see people start scrapping left and right, and then they're minus a million gold, and
Yeah, yeah.
their best friend's just hurting them. But I'll be curious if someone's able to do anything with it. I would also be surprised to see someone play it. Maybe in the finals, you could see it with best of 5, and you're running out of masterminds. But I think it's on the weaker side in my estimation.
I don't know if I agree. I think I definitely agree with your first assessment, which is that it should be stronger in tournament play. Like it's a very low dopamine mastermind, right? So
Yeah,
you're not
yeah.
going to see it very often in solo queue where you just want to scale and me carry. Um, but in tournament play, like you say, where it's really strategic and you just need to be able to cover this one big wave, I think Scrapper can be super interesting. And actually, I think if there's one team who are more likely to pull it out of the bag, I would go with Shadow. I think it's the sort of mastermind that Shadow could really go in for. So we'll see. We'll see. There's
Yeah.
just a guess there, just a guess. And meanwhile, of course, all of the masterminds have been changed to some degree with the role changes. So you're now less guaranteed to pick up tanks of all the different armor types, but you're more likely to have a more balanced DPS loadout instead.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. I haven't played enough myself to understand how that's going to impact the meta, but I think these guys are about to show us. So
No. Like from my few games on this batch, like I don't know, I've played like 30, 40 games. I feel like I haven't noticed my overall role quality being that much worse, even though I've definitely heard people say like, "Oh, this feels terrible. Like I never have the answers I need." Like I feel like the game is just more interesting if you're not guaranteed to have like perfect balance rolls every time. Like it
yeah,
can feel worse because like sometimes like that's the way it goes. Like you feel like you lost without your roll, but I feel like in Legion there's always ways to play around your roll, and sometimes it can't happen. Like, but it should encourage people to at least, especially in tournament, to play more with their like brains early game to try and protect their impossible wave. So you don't have arcane, like maybe you should start thinking about six to protect yourself, or if your teammate has arcane, maybe you're just flipping on seven and you're taking the leak. But just there's a lots of ways to mitigate bad rolls, especially in tournament. So I would be curious to see how people feel after watching.
yeah, definitely. Just personally, I think my role quality has gone downhill, but that's mainly because I've been playing 100% YOLO, so it's somewhat self-inflicted, let's say. But I've been
Brave,
having a
brave man.
blast. I've been really enjoying the new YOLO. Like no re-rolls, no second chances, just go. But guys, without any further padding, we are here with the first game of the
Wow.
June Nova Cup. It's X Crash versus Emma. Let's go.
That is kind of a saboteur I would not have expected.
Yeah, do you think he misclicked?
I don't actually remember what it's next to.
Yeah, is it next to like Megamind or something?
Yeah, maybe. That's it's not the mastermind I would expect from. I mean, it's still an aggressive mastermind, so maybe that's why Ashton likes it. But
It's high
not being
income. It's
able to,
plus 5 gold
yeah,
as well, right?
not being able to do king ups is pretty bad. I mean, it's worse than solo queue if your teammate's not paying attention
Yeah,
and never king ups. But so we'll see. It's definitely won games in Nova before, but very rare pick, I would think.
yeah. All right. Meanwhile, on the other side, we've got Dumbo picking up cash out and Emma picking up lock in. Don't see what he locked in. Oh, it was random. Okay, lock in
Random,
random.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a bad luck and random roll.
No, it's not
Made like
terrible.
yeah, it's got like one thing out of place. And like it's a reasonable archer roll. But the weird thing about these rolls is just hard to push. Because you have to get like the wild shroom and you have to get like certain gold thresholds, so it's just hard to keep pushing.
Yeah, and a
And
snail into
yeah,
L1 there. He should be completely fine.
and gets the save onto Ashen right away, so Shadow is already starting. Shadow's got an interesting role with like Poda as his opener, but the rest of his role doesn't really agree with it later. But you can still play with Poda and Boar. It's not the end of the world. Just losing out some of that board damage.
Yeah, he still has reroll as well.
Yeah. And Ashton is thinking about what to do. Three
Ashton has not
Kiwis.
yet
Oh,
turned off auto
oh,
send,
he's
by the way.
rerolled. Yeah, I mean, he might not. I think I've seen him play like games with just the auto send on. Obviously, he still takes all of his actions, but it is funny.
Yeah, we'll see.
And nothing too interesting here. Some snail came up into Ashton, so saw the gate guard, didn't think it was worth it. And camps for everybody besides L1 because Ashen literally can't king up. See the income sends now. Shadow 7 workers with the priestess. but not going to get punished. And Xcode also went 6 workers using the redraw already and found the Aqua, so that's nice for him. And L1 staying 5 workers because of his role, he kind of has to.
Yeah, he's going to get rewarded for that, though. He gets the 40 cent here. Obviously, an easy hold. Should be able to push to 7.
Yeah, the nice side is that you kind of get fed if you're receiving from the Salvador player, because you never get the Night Gold from King Ups.
Yeah.
Obviously, you might get bigger sends if they start tryharding, but for now it's just going to be snails.
Yeah, Ashton still has not turned off that auto button, so that's maybe his game plan pretty on the line for now.
Yeah. And the Luck and Random, the cash out kind of play similarly, just because they're both super aggressive with the raw gold that you get early game. So they can kind of get to that early advantage. They're both 7 workers. We'll see how Ashen and Xgod do with keeping up, because they also got solid early game rolls. And Shadow's going for a full send here with the Fiend and the Snail. Fiend is going to go chill in the split, and Ashen went double gate guard.
Yeah, he can never kill that Fiend, right? It's so tanky.
Yeah, maybe not. And we might see a small leak. Let's see if his gate guard gets second summon. It does, so he should be doing okay, even with...
Oh, it doesn't even die.
Yeah, goes down now, but I think he's well on his way to 5 dogs. 4? Oh, just barely.
That's just the perfect summon there for him. I mean, he may still leak, but very, very small.
Yeah.
He's been very, very lucky here.
Yeah, and that usually just means you can push like crazy. And Shadow's onto 9 workers. It's unusual to see Xgod kind of feed this much early, but maybe just felt like that's what he had to do for his own game. So Ashen onto 8 workers now.
Oh, here we go. It's the first real send of the game.
Yeah.
We've got a Brute from Ashton, actually, into L1, but he adds the canopy, so he should do semi-okay. Meanwhile, we're going double Robo here from Shadow back into Ashton, who did push for this full send, so Ashton may well be caught unprepared here.
Yeah, I mean, double gate guard is that threshold where it's just really hard to leak meaningfully, so we'll see if it's a big leak or not. And Shadow also getting Incan Kinged again, so we'll see if he can keep pushing.
Alright, the Archer does survive here in L1's lane, that's really crucial, but the canopy is going to go down under this pressure.
It's going to be a leak, but not too big.
Yeah, I think it's probably about as good as he can hope for there, really. Meanwhile, Ashton, he did get overwhelmed there, 72% leak, and Shadow just leaking as well to the Fiend.
Yeah, it was 80 into 80, so a little bit of feed from Xgod leads to like some pretty big sense for Ashton, but you know, he was also pushed while leaking, so it's not too sad about it. And he goes for the 3rd gate guard. So we probably have to watch wave 8, because if we look at his roll, he's kind of dead there.
Yeah, he doesn't really have any options, and it looks like he's used his reroll already.
Yeah, could be just the Stim Vet is his best choice, but either way, the options are not great. And we see just the DT for him here, so maybe Shadow is already thinking about that wave 8.
Yeah. Xgod, though, he looks pretty good on 8 with the Aquas, with the Orchid option, with the Banana Bunk option as well. So Xgod should be able to cover, I think.
Yeah, he's got solid options to help there. We'll see what they go for. It looks like just some more income. And it looks like everyone is just feeding a lot this game. So no one actually playing for a save.
I wonder which side that favours, though, because like Ashton has White Mane Gates as his late game, which is, you know, one of, if not the strongest late game combo. So we'll see. There doesn't really seem anything that screams out at me on the other roles in terms of ultra late game.
Shadow has like Halo board, but you know, it's not as insane as, well, I mean, Xcode has everything, right? He has the redraw,
his redraw, of course,
the hardest scaling. And Ashen's white main gates with the pull spot, I mean, it has weak waves, but it's still really strong. And he is going to be the most ahead as of right now.
Hmm.
See if that changes. But I am kind of surprised to not even like see the thought of going 8 on him. But
Yeah. Ashton's bailed
or at
out a little
least
bit there.
yeah, like income feeding gate guard is not really the strategy I think is good. Like you probably need to keep some pressure on it because I mean gate guard like the way it works like you get multiple summons you always hold, right? So you can be super undervalued if you don't expect a big sun, but against the big suns you're not always getting out the dogs and
Yeah.
then you're crumbling. So it's definitely an opener you generally want to pressure a bit more, but so far I mean maybe it's honestly like X God feeding Shadow kind of encouraged him to overpush. And then when you overpush, you kind of have to send a lot.
Yeah.
But just the way the game has shaped out so far is looking pretty nice for Ashen Xcode. I will say, I mean, Ashen has that 1 week wave that looks like 12 right now in the mid game, 12, 14. But Xcode does look like his whole build is going to be good there.
Yeah. And yeah, the fact that Ashton is able to get past this wave 8 without any incidents
Yeah.
is kind of concerning, I think. Like, we talked about the Ashton problem at the top of the game, and I think he's got past his one problematic wave in the early game quite easily. He's now pushed up to 16 workers. He's got really high income. I think
Yeah.
Ashton is very happy with the way this game's going so far.
Yeah, and he's going for some brutes here against L1, but L1 has the right read. The Avenger is a great ad. Obviously, a lot better for most of the waves than the upgraded Wanderer, and lets you get to the Sovereign, which is the goal. So, see how it does here. I would imagine this is just a hold, but let's see.
And it's a big send, 180 Mythium. Although 3 of
Yeah,
that
and
is snails.
one thing is that he's letting his Canopy just get one shot
Yeah.
here, where
Yeah, that
it's a
doesn't help.
good amount of his damage. But he is sniping one of the brutes already, and the Avenger is
Avenger
going to
will
pop
pop.
off. But I think he is still going to go for League. I think this should be a hold with slightly better positioning. Like
Yeah.
Wanderer in the split, Avenger maybe off tanking at the start for the Canopy. But yeah, so that's maybe a mistake there. Because now, I mean, the League gold is pretty nice for Ashton to keep scaling. Because one thing he can't do is king up. So if he gets gold from denies gold by just leaking them, that's also good. But we see them going for a big 10 cent here.
Yeah, this is a lot of Mythium coming out now. We've got Pack Brute into Ashton. We've got Pack Hermit and a Brute from L1 into X-God. X-God did get the Archer down, but it's not upgraded, so it doesn't quite have that power.
It doesn't have the Haven, doesn't have the Archer. I honestly would think that, well, selling is never great, but getting the Haven could be kind of nice. I guess he feels like he'll just build 100% for 10.
Yeah.
But let's see, these are big sends and he's not got great answers.
300 Mythium for X-God here on Wave 10. We'll have to see. We did talk about those big early game sends, so let's see if this pays off now for Emma and the Circus. The sends are already dead, actually, in X-God's lane, but so's his pretty much entire composition. So that's a half HP boss leaking. Shadow leaks small to income. Ashton leaks massive as well. This is going to be a lot of damage, actually.
Yeah, I will say that the one thing Exo did manage to do in that early game was get all these camps, because he did this all by himself.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good for them. I would imagine he probably wants to do some regen now as well. And they start saving. Probably need to try and aim at 12 here. It looks pretty promising. I don't know if they're going to go for an AoA or a Robo Army, but one thing Shadow and L1 could do that's pretty risky is just take Lone here. Okay, and never mind. They're going for an aggressive play of their own.
Yeah. L1 does
Probably
not
going 12?
quite reach Siege Ram. Like a post-income Siege Ram could have been
Yeah.
spicy, but he's about 10 or 20 Mythium short of that.
I think he took AoA just because he feels like he needs to leak Exod's much better build on 12, and Exod goes Lone, which is an insanely good call.
Yeah.
It could still leak next, but I would be very surprised at least.
He's so good on 12 though for
Yeah,
XGod. I mean, Ashton, sure, like Shadow should be able to break him, especially with the Robo Squad, but XGod is
yeah,
so strong there.
yeah. And now you have to worry about from L1 and Shadow's side. Like you also have to not die.
Yeah,
Um, because you don't have that many king ups, and wave 12 is kind of a beast, and you're going to be super undervalued. Whereas the other team has one guy who is going to be on value. And they're going to try XGod here with Pac-Mole Hermit. I don't think this is going to work.
yeah. I'm especially unsure about the pack leader actually because you're
Yeah,
sending
just next
pack
to.
leader into this haven, and it's just going to one shot the wave.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those situations where you might actually think about not sending Pac,
Yeah.
even though in general Pac is completely broken.
But like, think
Um,
about it. You're amplifying pierce
yeah,
damage into a fortified tank, and in return, you're making the wave take extra pierce damage when it's a swift wave. Like, pack leader seems
yeah,
kind of whiz here.
yeah, for sure. And obviously, we don't expect Ashen to hold very undervalued, but can we see Shadow maybe hold here? Because he
Well,
didn't get a
Shadow got
sense,
no
so
sense, so I think
hopefully,
he might he
hopefully he
might
does
be
hold.
okay. Yeah, but L1's going to leak huge. How is Ashton doing? Ashton is
That's a
getting
fold.
overwhelmed there with all of the magic damage, but X God easily holds. Like, it's not close.
Yeah. And he goes for the save, so I mean he'll play on some pretty low income, but he did just get a lot of gold from those power mercs.
Hmm.
And maybe this just opens the door for like a 14 play.
They're losing quite a bit of King HP here, though.
Yeah, that does make it a little more interesting. Like they are definitely in randomly get one hit territory.
Yeah. Now, Emma and the Circus taking a little bit of tickle on the King, but not too much. Honestly, they're still north of 80% there, while X-Crash, as you say, are well within one-shot territory.
Yeah. Um, but it seems like 14 is where it's going to happen. I don't expect Shadow to be able to hold there. It doesn't look like he has the tank value. In fact, he's got only two piggies.
Yeah, and remember, X got
But
skipped on wave 12 as well, right? So he just has way
yeah,
more Mythium than everybody else in the lobby.
but L1, I mean, L1 has a very good build for the wave. We'll
Hmm.
see. I mean, we said that about 9 as well,
Yeah.
so we'll see how he does. But getting a pretty small send,
He also gets
and
some extra gold here from clearing the Robo army, right?
yeah, that's always nice.
Yeah. Alright, we'll have to see. Will anybody send here, or are we going to see a wave 15 play perhaps coming out?
Looks like Ashton is going for an income play where Xhud goes full.
Yeah. But Shadow and L1, they both save their
Yeah, they
Mythium.
say.
Okay.
I
This
mean,
is this
it's
is
pretty
really
safe.
interesting now because I mean Shadow's going to leak full, right? He's 500 under. He
Yeah.
doesn't have the best units for this wave. L1 should be able to hold and cover a decent amount though.
Yeah, the tricky thing is like, are they gonna go 16 afterwards? Because I don't think they can go 15. There's probably too much gold for Xcloud unless Shadow is somehow holding really, really well. And if they go 16, I mean, Xcloud and Ashton don't have 100% great builds there, but they do have like Skybot. Xcloud does have the rerolls. Could fish for something. And the Poda is dead in 2 seconds. It's
Yeah.
probably not good. It's actually it's probably the worst aggro he could think of because the ogres went around the boars and the wave just one shot the Poda and all his damage.
Yeah, he's leaking everything. But L1, I mean, he's healthy.
Does cover,
He's going
so
to be able to
they don't
clear
take
up
king damage.
a chunk of this now in the mid.
Yeah, and they have to go for a one shot. It's just like they have to kill them,
Yeah.
which is possible. Um, not sure what the best way for them to do that is, but
Well, the good news is they're only on 36%, so like any kind of respectable leak should do the
uh,
trick.
the tricky thing is now they're also in randomly get one hit by small leaks territory. So if XGod and Ashton do go for like even like a small full send in response, uh, could very well kill them. Like L1 is quite under for 16, and I don't have that much faith in Shadow's build on 16, just because there's no tanks besides the little looters.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, Xcode and Ashen are literally on value. So you would imagine, and he also found flowers, although he's kind of trying to do a little bit of everything in his build right now.
Yeah, it kind of goes to show as well just how unafraid Xcod and Ashton are, because they both shifted gold here on 15 after being
Yeah.
saved on for 3 waves or 4 waves.
Yeah, and I think here you just need to make it should be a pretty simple call to send here for
Yep.
Exotic Nation. They see that L1 is full pushed, and here comes a send. So double 4-eye into XGod trying to target the big units, the Phoenix, the Bunk, but he may end up just going in a different direction as built. Not really. Okay. Only gets the one flower out, so or maybe no flowers at all. Yeah, he just goes to Arcto, so the 4-eye should be pretty good, I mean, against these targets,
Yeah.
but we'll see. I mean, Xrod does have very high value, Ashen does have very high value.
Yeah, Ashton's build on paper should be terrible here on 16, but I've learned to never rule out this thing.
Yeah, yeah. And like the thing is, even if he's leaking, it may be a long delay because you couldn't send imps, right? You had to go witches because of the skybots. So he may end up delaying for a good amount of time.
Indeed. Well, let's see. It's 1,000 Mythium here for Xcod, 860 for Ashton. They did go for full sends of their own, so Shadow and L1, they need to be careful not to die themselves here. But it looks like
Shadow
Xcod is getting
leaking,
overwhelmed. He's at least lowered the wave HP by
but
a
yeah,
lot.
Ashen is just
He's just holding, or
delaying or
at least delaying
holding.
long enough, right?
Yeah, delaying forever. I mean, that should be lethal on the other side with not that many king ups.
They only have 5 spell, and the Needler is living forever.
Wow.
GG.
Pretty close. Pretty close.
All right. Well, that's game one going in favor of X Crash. So very nicely piloted there. It was a little bit back and forth the game. Like neither side really took a huge advantage here on the win probability. But we did see kind of Dumbo and Emma. They just at some point they were saving for so long, while Xcod and Ashton, their income was just high enough to keep them on value every single wave. They got a huge amount of leak gold there on 14 against Shadow, and that was just enough for them to be able to close the game out here on 16. So very nicely played by X-Crash, but Shadow and L1, signs of life there, Offmer, I think.
Yeah.
They certainly gave them a run for their money, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, it was a little close. Maybe it didn't feel that close for Ashen and Exod, but from our point of view, it definitely looked like they had some good chances. It's always nervous when your king is that low, because especially like in that spot, they went for a quicker send than you would expect, with just like a 14, which opens up, a longer save, but
Yeah.
they ended up still coming out ahead.
Yeah, and it comes a lot down to like role quality. So, like we said really early on, Ashton just had a really, really strong late game there with white main gates, and the fact that he essentially had a free early game, right? It was very income heavy, which in
Yeah.
itself is fine, but it generally favours the player who has the better role, and in this case, that was Ashton. He wasn't particularly pressured too much in the early game, and he was just able to snowball off the back of that. So we saw it there where he was just the unbreakable machine on 16. He held the longest. I don't. He may have even full held there. We kind of lost sight as the king went down on the other side. But yeah, it's one of those cases where if you have the hyperscaling role and you kind of get away with murder in the early game, then you're going to be a problem. And if your name is Ashton, you're going to be double the problem. So that's kind of how this
Yeah.
one played out.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like, honestly, the first mistake from, like, the big mistake from L1 Shadow maybe that I saw was just like that wave 9 from L1. If he's able to just hold a bit better there, I think their 10 play looks better, and then his game looks a lot better, so maybe he can actually play for a wave 12 hold. Like, he doesn't have to just sack there and leak everything and still don't leak X God.
Yeah.
So. We'll
All
see.
right, guys. Game number 2 is about to begin. It's 1-0 to X-Crash. So let's see. Will Emma and the Circus be able to even the score? Let's find out. Game
Wow.
number 2.
Megamind in game two. Crazy guys. But he gets Chaos with Pawn Shop, so that's always solid. And a much different angle from Shadow this game with the castle. Maybe he was like thinking that he's getting fed so much that he can kind of play a chill castle game. And
Yeah.
we have Cash Out again for L1. Not the most amazing role, let's say that. I mean, it's got some late game ideas, but
He
um,
could do Wave 1 Sovereign.
he could. He could.
Now, when I see Shadow picking Castle, I think he's going into like Turbo Starve mode.
Yeah.
Because he just really wants to play support, and then his bonus income on 11 will be worth more in percentage terms because the game, like the lobby, is starved. So I think
Yeah.
that's the way that Shadow likes to play this, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will. I don't know. I mean, he's got good early game units to kind of facilitate that if he wants. Whirlybird, Peewee, Gate Guard, Tree, that kind of stuff. Ashton himself is going for. He's got another gate roll. Not quite as good as the last one, but something there. And you can see Exod didn't even push the fifth worker because he knows Shadow is sending to him and didn't want to get caught with his pants down.
Yeah,
Shadow goes for the wow, the crab guy.
interesting.
So kind of a weird combo with Castle, I feel like, just because the crab guy makes infinitely long waves, and you don't necessarily want to be in a long early game, but we'll see how he pilots it. This long wave does mean Exod is going to get a 20 out, so or yeah, and he's the only one, so that's really nice for him. And for Ashton, he's gone 4 workers with a rat, so pretty aggressive here. But looks like he's going to be okay to do so because he has the Peewee for wave 3. He's probably not getting a snail here.
No, he looks fine, right?
No. But how about Shadow? He's going for a boosted Peewee to hold the snail, maybe? I don't know. Does this hold snail?
Well, we're about to find out. It's
See how this
new
goes.
Crab Warlock, right? It's more of a DPS unit, less of a tank unit, so we see how quickly the crab dies now.
Yeah.
Um,
And it does look like to be a reasonable leak, but maybe that's what he's
he's
going
going to get
for. A
one
longer
more.
wave here. Could be
Hmm.
worse.
That's not great, actually. So that 5 creeps, 2 gold lost per creep, right? So that's 10 gold
Yeah.
plus 5 gold on the Peewee.
Yeah,
That's a lot
it's
of
not
gold to
ideal.
lose on wave 2.
Yeah, that's for sure. But it did facilitate the long enough wave for a Brute to come out here into Ashen's lane, of which I think he will be in a bit of trouble. Brute on 3, always tricky.
Yeah,
But
going for the
X-God
second tree.
has the perfect answer here, so he's just gonna gobble this up.
Yeah.
And that's a result of him getting that 20 off in income, right? He's 3 gold here, so
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Exo's spam pinging the casket because he realizes he's just completely taking over now. That's just so nice to get that early full send as a snack, and
Yeah.
bad
Oh,
boy
Ashton
Ashton,
hunted here? That's crazy, man.
the greedy guy. I mean, I guess in his mind he thought that Exo will always hold, he's not expecting Brute, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, X-God will hold, but that's a lot of gold that he's giving away in terms of the lead.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely the way the gold distribution works, you're definitely funneling a lot more into the guy who's sending you when you leak. So we'll see how this goes. Maybe L1 can take over here. He's queuing up another brute. I don't think he's going to get it, but it's always good to be optimistic. Oh, never mind. He will get it?
He
Wow.
does. Okay.
What a beast.
Well, Ashton does not look good on this wave at all.
Yeah, his gold is ready for another pack rat, I guess. So we'll see if value is better than the send.
Yeah, I mean, he may just not hunt and then be fine because he has 400 value, right?
Yeah, you would hope that you can hold with Orange Valley. Exxon did go for a full send here, it looks like, with the snails. but L1 did add here. Probably not going to get caught.
Oh, Shadow went for a post-income brute as well into
Wow,
X-God.
cheeky.
But X-God, he's ready for it.
Yeah, it's always hard to catch X-God, but with these units, he's not the best here. I
Cascade
mean,
does
the
get one
Howlers are great,
final
but
spell off. But Ashton... Oh, he did Hunt as
Giga...
well again on Ashton, leaking
Wow.
77% back-to-back here.
And it's going to be king damage.
Yeah?
So this early game, a lot better so far.
Oh, wait, this is 2 full HP brutes on wave 4, Offma. They're nearly dead, I'm not even joking.
It's a bit of damage, yeah.
Well, I mean, L1 and Shadow, this game number 2 is definitely going off to a good start for them, the way they'd like to see this going. 46% King HP for X-Crash.
And now, if I'm them, I think you can just end the game on wave 8 so far. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. And Shadow definitely the sort of player to identify a line like that and just go in really hard for it, especially when they're getting another round of Income King here on 5, alleviating any of that pressure.
That's it's an interesting choice.
Yeah.
It does leave him open to the potential of rolling something that could auto-hold wave 8, but...
Yeah, I mean, he's got 3 waves to find a Nightmare now, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Whoa, whoa. Shadow is queuing up Income Mercenaries. But why?
Huh. Maybe he just sees X-God being on turbo value.
Yeah, the thing is, I wouldn't even mind just saving on X-God because he's on turbo value.
Yeah.
Like, he should be completely out of the game if you just save forever and then Income King. And you're a castle, so you'll catch up eventually.
Mm-hmm.
L1 looks like he might have been... Oh, he's getting no send, but even if he's getting no send, if his gun dies...
Well, we'll find out. It
Okay,
only takes 1. Okay, crazy. Yeah. How dare we question L1?
Yeah, it looked kind of low, but I guess his gun is actually built kind of low, so...
Yeah.
Less scary that way.
And X-God sitting there at plus 75 value.
Yeah. So L1 a bit ahead this game, I think. He's gotten a lot of donations from Ashton through those brutes, and should be in a reasonable spot to turn into... Like, he's got a decent enough build to convert a mid-game. Like, you probably try to end the game around, you know, before it gets really late, but with this kind of lead, you definitely can push for it.
Yeah. Alright, another income send here on 7. Shadow and L1 don't have too much Mythium though, so I don't really think they'll go for a big wave 8 play. I could see wave 10 though.
Yeah. Although X-God maybe just found the answer he wants for that.
Oh yeah, what a beast.
But a very rare sight on our screen, Ashton with the lowest workers in the game. Obviously he has 2 rats, but still.
Yeah, that's crazy. He's also the 2nd lowest income in the game.
More and more mysteries. Who are you and what have you done with Ashton?
He's obviously lost his mojo after getting caught with his pants down treasure hunting twice in a row.
Yeah, will he go for... I mean, he's gonna hunt something here. It's just how many does want to go on the ground.
Yeah.
Or? Wow.
Yeah, he really has lost his mojo. Okay, well. Ashton is kind of getting played like a fiddle here by L1, it seems.
Yeah, and that wave 10 is coming, I think. Especially after showing the Pilgrim, and especially after X-God goes for the Iron Maiden. I think that's kind of crazy to go for, but especially when he had better options, or not better for this wave, perhaps, but I guess I wouldn't have felt that scared against the full send here. So
Being a skilled Chaos player, he has just rolled Berserker again, though, so
yeah, no
he can
worries.
be
And
bailed out and
he
just build it
overbuilt.
here instead, right?
Yeah, he overbuilt for this, I think. So I think that's his plan. Or he's going Daphne. But
Uh,
Berserker makes a lot more sense when you have, yeah, okay. And this wave 10 looks a bit worse. And
yeah.
he's going for a brute here, but I think that's just going to be a complete snack. L1 plus 70 here. But maybe after seeing this, you could just go for like a wave 12 play if you're L1 in Shadow.
Yeah.
And with 57% HP, I don't think you can live against a straight 12.
Hmm. There's only counterattack available as an offensive spell, and there's two really good defensive spells. So
It's true.
I think they have options. But yeah, straight 12 would be very dangerous.
Or income on 10.
Yeah, this is once again a very high income game from Emma and Shadow, which surprises me. I thought these guys would be going for a lot more long saves early.
A lot more blood, that's for sure.
Okay, we do see a full send from
Ashton,
L1 into
yeah,
Ashton, though.
that's fair. I mean, well, Ashton does have a secret surprise that will give him a chance to do decently here. I mean, he's got a lot of pack rats as well, right?
Yeah.
Those are some. Oh, I lied about the Daphne. It's not coming.
Huh.
Boosted Banker is his choice.
Okay.
His own value. And X God is. I felt pretty good about showing the Zerker, so he's just going to go for something else.
Alright, well, with no Daphne... I mean, look how fast the boss
Yeah.
dies with that pack leader buff, though. Holy moly.
Yeah, like
Absolutely
here in this
wild.
spot, maybe a Mimic would have been better, just because he has so much Swift, but looks like a snack for Ashen. And that's... Wow, that's not good.
No, that's really not good. So that was a full send from L1, easily held by Ashton, and Income King from X-God and Ashton, leaking
Uh,
both L1 and Shadow. This
that might
game that started
be...
off
Yeah.
so well for them is now looking a bit dangerous.
Yeah, and I feel like they had much simpler ways to win the game. Um, like, it feels like when you're ahead in that spot, like, saving is pretty safe.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
not
Mythium
really a lot
saving
of
has
threat.
absolutely 100% zero counter, right?
Yeah, so, obviously. But yeah, I mean, in that spot, it felt like they couldn't make a mistake if they saved. Obviously, Xcut could have rolled some nice answers, but I feel like when you have enough Mythium, it doesn't matter how good the answer is. Like, you can still leak a lot. And they just go for more income here, which seems wrong to me as well. Because now they're giving X-God and Ashen all the control back in the game.
Yeah. And Ashton's on fire after that wave 10 play. And their King
Yeah.
HP, which was so low after the early game, they were down like 40%, right? On wave 4 even. They're now back up to 70%, basically almost caught up with Emma and the Circus, and they have way
Oh.
more King upgrades. They have the pressure advantage now as well.
Yeah, and they now Ashen got to do king ups, right? They actually managed to get like even more king this game, so kind of let them back in the game with that regen, but we'll see. But they still have ways to win the game. Obviously, Shadow has a pretty nasty 21 roll if we get there.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
long way away though, his wave 21.
Yeah, it's a few waves from now till then.
Shadow's income is looking very strong though. The castle has kicked in.
Yeah, and it's kind of about where does Ashen want to go? Not really sure. Like, you probably want straight 15 against L1, but can you hold 14 if you're Ashton? I'm not
Hmm.
100% sure. I mean, he
It,
has rats, so maybe
yeah.
he'll have enough value.
I mean, he's got better badges as well.
Yeah, yeah. Big Iron Skill, some Daphnes. Maybe it's he's got some pieces to get the job done. But it may just be 14, looking at these values.
Yeah.
I do think L1 has a chance. I might be coping, but his units are all insanely good there.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is as well, despite the fact that XCOD and Ashton have been saving longer, L1 with his worker lead is actually catching up in Mythium, at least compared to XCOD. And Shadow, with the highest income in the game by a decent margin, is
Yeah.
catching up as well in terms of value.
Yeah, I mean, Ashton for sure wants to send sooner rather than later, just so that he can actually convert his lead into like a meaningful something once he actually sends. But see, um, does feel like they may need to go. We'll see if they feel the same pressure or not, and they do.
Yeah, well, here comes the send from
Needler
both sides then. We've got double Needlers from L1 and Shadow.
income,
Income from XGuard. Okay, so correctly reading that
yeah,
L1 is a bit of a beast here on 14.
well rolled.
Yeah, very, very skilled Chaos player. He's also pretty close to value as well, just minus 180 there. Ashton's actually going to be over value, but like we said earlier, his unit quality is not great on 14. We'll have to see
Yeah.
if his value is just enough to make up for it.
Yeah, I mean, value with Gate is always strong. Obviously, 14 Gate's weak
Yeah.
wave, but I mean, he also has the boosted big wig,
Oh, true. Yeah, yeah.
one-shotting the wave. Let's see, he's instead of chieftain buffing a Badger, he's chieftain buffing a Looter. I don't know if that's exactly where you want your chieftain buff on 14, but
Hmm.
fair play.
The Needler's really good into him as well. Like that thing's
Oh, the
starting to
Needler is
ramp up
actually onto
already.
the Sovereign here.
Okay.
Don't know how that happened, but
Well,
the
that's
Feta
pretty good.
is vibing, and it looks still like it's a hold no matter what.
Yeah, but Shadow Leak's 100%,
Yeah,
and Fatal
and
with
Ashton
Lifesteal is on the
holds.
Needler,
Yeah,
and that is enough to kill it. And Ashton holds as well, so
think that's the start of the end.
yeah, that's really rough for Shadow and L1. Jules is giving them just 17% win chance now, which feels about right, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, there's still room for Xcode and Ashton to make a mistake, but just a lot less room than there was before.
Yeah. Now, the
And
one silver lining, I think, is like Ashton's role is not at the same quality as it was in the previous game, so he doesn't, he's got strong units, but he doesn't really have any synergies. He doesn't have white main to go
yeah,
with his gates or anything like that. And Tree of
he's
Life,
got
sure, but it's
some.
just not the same.
Yeah, he's got like infinite gates with the healing and the. But
Yeah,
yeah,
true, true.
not necessarily the same quality. I mean, the Daphne is a nice synergy with Gate as well, and there's this and that, but it's just not quite as good as White Meat.
Yeah.
And by the way, I forgot to mention that Ashen did pop his stash in order to hold Wave 14.
Ah, what a beast.
I'd kind of forgotten that he was stash, but yeah, that helps.
Yeah, but the fact that XCOD was able to hold as well
Yeah,
without having stash kind of says a lot as well, I think.
yeah. And now his chaos is kind of just scaling really hard. Um, he is. I don't know. Is that glitched or is he actually that under? He is actually that under, so he's quite pushed um, compared to everyone else. But his build is solid for 17. Not amazing, but should hopefully be enough to get the job done.
Yeah. Hmm.
And Ashen probably will hold 17, looking at his roll.
Yeah, I just don't see who's going to hold 17 on the side of Shadow and L1. I mean, this unit is completely broken.
Yeah, that is true. But the value situation, especially, he's probably getting 4,000 witches. So we'll see if he can do good enough. I would imagine he could kill the wave, but not much after that. And for L1, I mean, he has the boars coming online now, and he has the double sovereign, so we'll see if it's like enough big units to hold 17.
Shadow's clicked
The
the auto send
income?
button.
I think that makes sense. Your best hope is that somehow Shadow you can scale into this. If you can somehow miraculously hold one wave, you probably can win the game with your build.
Yeah,
So living extends the chance of that happening.
true.
And but the value situation, well, we've seen better days.
Yeah, yeah. So Shadow's going to be about 1,000 undervalue. L1's going to be about 800 undervalue.
Yeah. And Exod with income actually. So
Wow.
that's
I mean,
kind of weird to me,
are
but
they just
okay.
playing with their food or what?
I'm not really certain. I don't think this build is so good you have the income king, but
Hmm.
seems strange to me at least.
Well, every wave that they don't kill them gives Shadow and L1 another chance to come back into the game.
Yeah, I mean, looking at how close this hold is against
Yeah.
Drake's,
Yeah. I feel like
I mean,
not
that's
Drakes might have done better. Shadow honestly did
perhaps,
really well.
perhaps.
Like, this is 100% leak, but really it's like 5
Yeah.
wave creeps.
Yeah, it's not so bad. I mean, the benefit of his ability is he always kills the melee sons if there
Yeah.
are any. And now we see a Sui play for
From L1.
19, I suppose. Because I guess they feel like if this build game goes to 20, they have no chance.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if I 100% agree with, but I guess they feel like they want to make a play. I honestly would feel like they want to drag this game out, but
Hmm. I mean,
like I feel like
Shadow's wave like
going for
21 roll is honestly cracked. Like Skybot is just not
yeah,
not a
yeah.
fair unit.
Yeah, that's why I feel like you want to push zero workers and try and go as late, like stall the game rather than go for a play where XGod and Ashen are probably ready for a play.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they would be less ready for you to just sit there and push zero workers. Because then it's the onus is on XGod and Ashen to try and push for something,
Yeah, yeah.
which seems unlikely to do when you're ahead. Like usually you're fine with just kind of sitting there overbuilding. And they do see something weird happening.
Yeah, I think players of XGod and Ashton's caliber will now realise that they need to send here on wave 19, and they can just close the game with 0 risk, right?
Yeah, and that does look like what's about to happen.
I feel like maybe L1 and Shadow's one chance was not to make it so obvious, so that XGod and Ashton skip wave 19, and then maybe there's a chance.
Yeah, the thing is they have to one shot them. It's not like they have like 60% type of king where like wave 19 is actually really strong, but true 100 to 0 and wave 19, like you do need reasonable leaks.
Yeah,
And with these sends, yeah, I mean, one team has way more value, so
yeah. I mean, L1's more than 3,000 undervalue. Shadow, who is supposed to be the holder on the team, he's nearly 2,000 undervalue as well. XGod, yep, he's got hardened golems. He's got bucklers, which is just the best,
yeah.
most cost efficient tank in the game on wave 19.
It's going for the wireless white main here. Let's see
Yeah,
how it goes.
I mean, you're building these units here. Just put some of them here, man. Like every little helps,
No, no,
right?
no, no, no.
The
Don't
the
worry, the
game's
gates are
not going
coming next
past this
wave.
wave. You don't need to build for wave 25.
Next wave, he'll get the gates, and you'll see then.
Okay, okay, I trust.
But I think we're looking at the last wave of the
Yeah,
game.
I mean, L1's leaking literally everything. Shadow is honestly doing extremely well. Does he get another round of summons? He does.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
it's not
Skybots are
quite
pretty
going to be
strong on
enough.
19.
And even if Shadow held his own lane here, which he doesn't
Yeah.
quite, he's got round 2 waiting in the mid. So, yeah, I mean, the suicide does break Ashton, and XGod leaks as well, but they... do they die to that? Maybe they would. But I'll tell you who
Maybe.
does die, Othma, and that is,
Yeah.
unfortunately, Shadow and L1.
Yeah, you don't want to say what could have changed XGod's hold, but
Yeah. Well, okay, that's a
yeah.
fairly rapid 2-0 there from XCOD and Ashton. So they've secured their place in the upper bracket match. Do we know who's going to be joining them up there?
Let's have a look.
Fine and King Dans, they have 2-0'd their 2
2-0.
games. Okay. So yeah, the upper bracket match is confirmed. That will be Fine and King Dans versus XGod and Ashton. So we will get right back to that one probably in about 10 minutes time, guys. Just need to give the players and my poor, very much labouring throat a bit of a breather between games. So don't go anywhere, guys. I will leave you with some lovely Nick Tier meme music, and we will see you right back here for that upper bracket match. Until then, goodbye. guys, welcome back. We very much hope you enjoyed the first game of the series. Now it is time for the upper bracket game, and that is once again going to be King Dance and Fine going up against XGod and Ashton Butcher. So one hell of a matchup there. Offmer, any predictions from yourself?
I don't know. I feel like this could go any which way. It could be a 2-0 stomp. It could be the closest three-game series of all time.
Yeah.
I don't really know who to favor. I don't really know what to think, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, all four players in this lobby are like at the absolute top of the game, right? So it really is one of those where it's just too close to call. But for me personally, just because they have played together a lot more, I'm going to give this one to XGod and Ashton because they have that tournament experience. They've won a bunch of cups together already, whereas Fine and King Dance, despite being incredible players in their own right, this is the first time I think that they've paired together in a tournament setting. So maybe, just understanding how each other work and play is going to work in favour of XGod and Ashton.
Yeah, for sure. I can definitely see that communication coming ahead.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, it can easily go either way, and of course, XGod and Ashton famously never use voice comms during the games. They kind of rely on pings and such. So, the communication advantage not necessarily going their way, despite the fact that they've played a bunch of tournaments together already.
I don't think Fine and King are on voice either, to be fair.
Okay, they're also shy, it seems. So, okay, guys, well, without any further ado, here is the absolute voiceless upper bracket match. It is Slot Machine on the left versus X-Crash on the right. Let's go.
Kingsguard, Lock, and Random. And Fiesta, question mark. And he has Pixie. Nice luck.
Yeah, Fiesta Pixie, what a beast. But he also has, like, Bazooka, which is really good, Goblin Copter, which is really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Kingsart, so double Kingsart here, which is interesting. I mean, there's Savior in this game. So with the Fiesta, it's okay to take some King damage. And we'll see. I mean, PTA makes the game interesting as well. Titan, also a buff spell that can be kind of interesting. We have King with probably the best Titan user so far, but we're still waiting for 2 role selections.
I mean, XGod has Poter as well, and Ashton has Bunk, so I think they can all use Titan pretty well.
Yeah, Fine with kind of a weird role, honestly. I mean, it's got strong flying synergy, but the board doesn't fit too nicely, so his reroll is going to be pretty important.
Yeah.
And he has no arcane.
And Ashton, who was spoilt for choice there with his Fiesta roll, has decided to go with the Pixie opener. Does not get snailed, which is kind of to be expected since Ashton... it's the first time I think I've seen him play Fiesta actually in Nova, so...
Yeah. I think I've seen him pull it up before, but we'll see if he can get going with the Pixie. Very, very strong, and transition to that late game where he has like big Bunk, has decent DPS with the Zeuses as well. Lots of options.
Yeah, now here's the thing. XGod almost certainly has to add like a tier 1 to his double skeleton build because there will be snails.
There will be snails. In fact, King, the only person, because he was 4 workers, didn't get a snail out.
He does send it post-income, though. Ashton did go 6 workers as well, actually. I thought he didn't for a minute there.
Yeah, I mean, he's going with like the standard Pixie one where you just push a 6, get the second Pixie next, and go from there.
Next one, of course, doesn't have the buzz. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying some people like to try and mind game it and try and do better against the snail, but I do feel like that complicates your game unnecessarily afterwards.
Yeah. Just accept the leak, you think, and...
Yeah.
80% is a bit more than he would have liked, though, I think.
Yeah. I mean, 60... Or, I was going to say, when you stay 5 workers to try and do better against the snail, it's not necessarily that good as well.
Yeah.
Just because you're 5 workers.
This is where the new leak gold changes might be really interesting, right? Because Ashton is now losing a lot more gold than he used to. But at the same time, Fine is not gaining any gold at all from these leaks while he's receiving that pressure from Ashton and his pixies.
Yeah, it's definitely it snowballs the game a lot more towards King and Ashen.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, it's not like X God is punished. It's more just that Fine gets the short end of the stick.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, that is basically Fine's fault for choosing to send into the holding player, right?
Yeah. And X God going for the King regions already. Or well, he had them queued up. I guess he didn't. He only got one off. And we'll see what happens. King got to that 7 workers. Ashen also won 7 workers now, so
Yeah.
pretty nice for him.
A 53% leak here, better than his Wave 2 performance, but still quite a large leak percentage. And Kingdans is going to be hyper-scaling from all of this.
Yeah. He did get that 40 here as well, so he's feeling good. And he might get to that mythical double DT threshold on 4. Maybe not. If you get to double DT against the double Pixie, it's pretty much going to be a massive leak. So,
Yeah, that's a well played GG, I think.
yeah, but Ashen here, what's he going to go for? Just the skeleton?
Yeah.
And
Skeleton's not great though, right? Like it's very understated because it's effectively a Groll.
Yeah, for sure. And King is going for that full send again. Just trying to farm up some money off of Ashen, which I think is pretty reasonable. And he's kind of getting income pinged a lot again by X-God. I mean, should be, see if he'll be able to do more with it than Shadow was quite able to do. He's got a better role for it for sure.
X-God is determined not to fall behind while being the holding player.
Yeah.
And wait, is Ashton getting an absolute dream fiesta here?
Yeah, this is just... Or?
Go on, 2 more hits? My
What a
god.
beast.
Who is this man?
King will be a little sad, but he's also 10 workers, so...
Yeah, King is not sad about the way this game is going. Like, that was a really good fiesta there for Ashton, but King has farmed so much gold on Wave 2 and 3.
Yeah. And he's playing minus 100 here. I don't think X-God's gonna think about a full send. I think he could start thinking about that Wave 7. That is probably where King looks the weakest.
Yeah, and honestly, Fine doesn't look that great there either. I mean, I know he has 1 archer down, but the rest of his board is garbage on 7.
Yeah, he has to get to the skeleton, and there's actually a full send here into X-God with the Robo and the Fiend.
Okay, but I mean, the Sea Dragon tanking the boss is just absolutely perfect for him.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want.
Oh, Ashton with 100... He didn't kill the Scorpion. Oops. Oh, no.
Small mistake there from Ashton, it seems.
Mr. Slickins would not be happy.
And will the skeleton die? It does finally go down, so yeah, that's a lot of King damage.
This is a huge amount of King damage here. It's only Wave 5. But remember, we did just see X-Crash winning a game after being 40% HP on Wave 4. Yeah. So this doesn't count them out.
And they do have Savior this game, so it's more about the economic damage. We'll see if it matters. They're going for a save now. Maybe just a Wave 7 play? I mean, for King, it makes sense to go 7, but we do have the skeleton now for both of these players, so leaks are unlikely unless we see the Mimic, which is unlikely unless we see a leak here. Which may happen. I mean, fine. Okay, never mind. He just hadn't built yet.
Yeah, I thought he was going to shift gold, which would have been very bold.
He goes for the shift with a unit. And the skeleton does give him that pseudo-arcane tank. So 3 people this game likely to have the Scallywag on their board for Wave 7. King the only one
board is pretty bad here. Is he going to leak to like the snails? No.
No, I think it's just enough. Maybe if it was like full send, maybe, but I don't think so. It's just income for everybody. Maybe X-God wants to go full, yeah?
He does, okay.
King will get that gun out.
With the gun, I think King should do pretty fine here.
Yeah. It's...
even Harden
he
as
has
well.
Harden.
Yeah, he's going to be okay.
And a Justice Split, which is Well done. Minus 100. If he can snipe one of the brutes, maybe with the little buzzes or the consort, that could be huge as well.
Mhm. Alright, 160 Mythium. I mean, there's a lot of players receiving 160 Mythium, but King Dan's the only one receiving Power Mercenaries, so
He is focusing one brute, so he did get one fortunate buzz proc.
insta-sniped.
Will he get another?
He will,
Yes,
my
he
god,
will.
how does he do it?
And it looks like he'll be a full hold.
Yeah.
Or,
I
I
mean,
can't tell how many big blobs are left, but in any case,
two buzzes, two brute snipes. What a beast.
minus 100, that's a snack. I mean, he should be pretty far ahead now. Ashton's keeping up
Yeah.
with that Fiesta. I mean, he's got himself a pretty nice board as well with the bunk out now. And he's going for a save into Fine. Maybe will just be income, but Fine doesn't look that good on Wave 9. So maybe we'll see some tryhard stunts. He is
So,
+5 though.
if I'm looking at the stats here, Ashton has made 60 gold from Fiesta. He's lost 82 gold to leaks, but he's also gained 50 Mythium from those pixies. So overall, I'd say he's pretty quids in.
Yeah, that's not too bad. And he's going to continue to kill his Pixie. Well, Pixie singular this wave, but...
Yeah.
And we'll see. Do Fine and King want to go for any type of send here? I mean, they're playing very undervalue on XGod and Ashton's side, but it looks like it's just going to be income for everyone. XGod, the only hard worker to manually click his income mercenaries.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's a man after my own heart. I like to manually auto-send as well.
It makes you feel something. Like,
Yeah, I'm
I did
helping.
that. And Fine is the lowest workers here, but we'll see if that comes back to bite him. He is playing on pretty high value though, so and he's already got a reasonable income. So we'll see between him and XSquad, probably the two people who are on the lower end of this game, but can they keep up? King goes for a harden here. Not gonna need it, but it's not gonna hurt him too much on wave 10.
Yeah. King and Ashton both absolutely starting to take over the game. They now have a 10% power score lead over the other two players.
I don't mind, he has a catapult. Yeah, for sure those two guys are going to be the ones to watch.
Unlucky there. Ashton's Chloropixie surviving.
Yeah, that's a shame. So yeah, very fed game. And now it seems like Ashton, I don't know if he meant to send there again, but he does. And King sent one snail for that 0 gold to get his Vulcan exactly. What a beast. And with the region, I don't think Ashton and XSquad need to go for the Savior. They can go for that Titan or that PTA, depending on what their plan is.
Yeah, I mean, Titan just looks so good, like for Ashton's Banana Haven in the split.
Yeah. And don't really see the PTA play for them right now. It looks like something like 13-14 is more on the cards. And not sure what King and Fine want exactly, because going 12 is tricky into Ashton, for sure. And but it looks like they are going to go 12, looking at this bush.
Crazy. Yeah, they're going to have a lot of Mythium, actually, on the side of Fine and King.
Yeah, that's certainly true. Which I guess Fine will be. I mean, they'll both be holding here, and they're both pretty good next. So this may be, this may be a riskless risk. And Ashton will go for that Titan. Will get the Haven presumably.
Yeah, there it is.
So what's the plan against the bunk? Maybe just a bear in the split and no pack leader?
Now, this is interesting, right? Because his Pixie currently would take any Chieftain buff, so he's going to have to sell that if he wants to Chieftain buff his Haven on wave 12.
True. And XCOD went for the Star Caller, so he's not going to be very good on wave 12, that's for sure. He's missing a certain tank value there. And he's looking vulnerable to the imps, but they aren't coming actually. I'm kind of surprised. I would think imps are pretty good against this build with the catapult, the Starcaller, and the Royal Guard is the only tank.
Yeah.
Regardless, I think the Centaur will do fine. And no pack leader into this Haven from King, so perhaps smartly recognizing that. And wow, Ashen's going for the Pyros, so all in
Okay.
on this 12 play. Realizes that the opponents are all in on their 12 play, so see how this goes. It's kind of a weird positioning going on here, but
Yeah.
it may just be enough AoE.
I mean, the wave is going down pretty quickly, but so is that
Yeah.
Banana Haven, despite the Titan. Pyro's doing its
But it
absolute
looks
hardest
like
to DPS down the wave. Will it ever be enough?
maybe
Xgod, of
not
course,
ult.
leaking full. That's 100% for him. Ashton's doing very well, but it's not quite a hold. That's a 96% leak for him.
So pretty good play from King and Fine, and now they're super pushed as well.
Yeah. They have a huge worker lead, actually.
Yeah, we'll see what they plan to do with it. Maybe just the simple play, and try and go 15.
The impressive thing is that Fine and King are both on value as well, right? So
Yeah, so much gold, right?
they're not really giving any avenues for Xgod and Ashton to try and come back.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's not going to be easy for the Exxon and Ashton. Maybe they're thinking about a 14 play, looking at the values, but
Hmm.
let's see, I guess. I mean, Fine has decent value. Not the greatest units, but King also has the hardened potential, has double gun maybe coming online. Exot is full pushing. To no send. And they are going to go for try an undercut here.
Yeah, I don't know how successful this is going to be, given that Fine and King are both on super high value when they
Yeah.
finish building.
It is basically a full Sui here, and it's not
Yeah.
like Finding King are likely to die, but perhaps they feel like if they get a bunch of damage here, they can't go 16 into Ashen with the Pyros, I guess, so they want to force a 15 where Ashen might be able to hold.
I mean, if they get
And
decent sized leaks here, then it can be pretty good, right? Because they'll get a
yeah.
ton of gold as well. But that's a big if.
Yeah, I mean, no Hearted here from King, but let's see. I mean, we did have the Red Eyes come out for Fine here.
The
He's
Aziria is
missing tank
living.
value on the left. He's kind of killing all his DPS.
Yeah,
Or is he?
okay. Wait a minute. No, he's a beast.
No, he's... Or?
It does go down,
I
but
mean, pretty much max
did its job.
value.
King Downs
So
leaks
a couple
50%, Fine leaks
leaks.
85%, there's a couple of shutdowns there as well, and they will get a decent chunk of gold here in the mid, I think.
Yeah, impressively, X-Squad did manage to hold with literally zero value here,
What a
so
beast.
it's well done to him. And they will just go income again. And they should be able to live, right? Full King, Kingsguard doesn't really matter.
They get so much gold from that
Yeah.
Wave 14 leak. Let me just check these stats again. Oh, well, it shows me the gold lost to leaks, but not gained from.
I see, I see.
Oh, no, it does. Gained from leaks. Okay. 445 for Xcod, 347 for Ashton. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, and Ashen is on value with Harden and some juice.
Yeah. Xcod's
See
still
what-
very far under, of course.
Yeah. So maximizing his auras this time around. It's gonna be Shaman Imps here into Scott. I'm kind of surprised there's no pack involved here as well, but maybe just didn't have the Mythium.
Oh, very difficult for Ashton to kill a Kraken, though. So despite the
Yeah.
fact that he's on value, that thing survived forever.
Yeah, Xcod is going for probably the boss Shaman and couple Creeps leak.
Yeah.
And on the other side, maybe it looks like a boss shaman and a creep as well. So they should be able to live, maybe, with the Kingsguard.
Yeah, I think. Well, I
But
mean, this is close, honestly. Like, boss plus
yeah,
shamans is a ton of damage on 15.
and even if it's not a death, it is still a
It's
lot of gold.
so much gold. So, Fine was on 150 gold before this leak started coming in. Let's see where he ends up on.
Wow.
737.
Yeah,
Okay.
so a little bit of gold here and
Yeah.
there.
Basically 600 gold from those leaks.
Yeah. So now, I mean, it kind of just gonna be a battle of the builds. I mean, King and Ashen are obvious, or sorry, King and Fine are definitely a bit ahead with gold, but I mean, can their builds from Xgod and Ashen overcome it?
Hmm.
I
Well,
think we're gonna see.
Ashton's on good value, but they're just so far behind in every metric that
Yeah.
matters. Like, they have fewer workers, they have less value, they have lower income,
Yeah, it looks like Wave 18 will come.
and they have way
And
lower king HP as well.
yeah, that's another thing for sure. They can maybe do good on 18. I will say one thing I noticed with Fine's build is that his board is kind of DPSing. And yeah, he definitely needs to add some more tanks on his left side to protect his DPS because while it looked really good on 14, I think it will look a lot worse with the stronger wave groups.
Yeah. Luckily, he has some very good, like, late game tank options there with the boar, and then just super, super cost effective things like the buckler.
And looks like 18 is what's going to happen. You can see King already prepping for it. We'll see. Xbox will get to something like a double Kraken here, which may be his best choice against like the Orchid in these area.
Mhm.
But it's not like the Kraken is super good against the other units that he
Yeah.
has. And Fine is going to just opt for no split here. Doesn't want to think about protecting his DPS too hard.
That's a good call.
Yeah, I mean, playing the Archer is not really that much damage. I mean, it's still a soft split for him, but maybe just make sure that his DPS doesn't die.
Alright, fine going for imp spam this time around. He's correctly identified that Xgod has 0 imp slaying potential. And King Downs, who enjoyed how well the Kraken worked on 15s, decided to send 2 more here on 18.
And it's double Ram, which is kind of weird against boosted Orchids, which is it's probably just going to one-shot the Ram. He did have money for double Kraken, but maybe he didn't have enough for double Ram Shaman. So felt like getting the Shaman was important. We'll see how they do. I mean, I don't think Xgod can hold. Can Ashen hold? Maybe? But I don't. It's really, really difficult against double Kraken.
He's going to have a very high HP Scallywag.
That is true. It maybe literally can't die. Pack 8 imps. What wave are we on? But definitely the best send against the Starcaller or Catapult build.
Yeah.
And the Krakens have been taken down in Ashen's lane.
With the pack leader, though, the catapults are actually killing things pretty rapidly. Ashton? No, there's 2 creeps left alive there. I don't think he can hold on to this.
Yeah,
And
not quite.
Meanwhile, Xgod has
Just
leaked
double
everything.
hold on the other side.
Yeah. I mean, that's just insult to injury, right? The fact that
Yeah.
Fine and King Dans both hold here. So even if Ashton had been able to hold, it would have just been too far to come back from, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
They actually almost lived even.
Well, I mean that's a fairly one-sided match. I think it's fair to say. Slot Machine pretty much dominated here in game 1. That's their Kingsguard and Lock-in used up, so they won't be able to use those again.
Yeah.
They used it very well, though.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, King got a huge early game advantage, and the Kingsguard really made it so that that 14 play was not so scary.
Yeah. But they were just never in trouble there, really. I can't really identify when the tipping point was, but at some point in the game, well, actually I do know. It's just the fact that Ashton was leaking so much in the early game that King Dan's just absolutely snowballed out of control. Like, this is kind of what I worry about with the new League Gold changes, is it gets so warped when there's a Fiesta player in the game. Like,
Mhm.
King is getting so much gold funneled into him with these leaks from Ashton on 2,
Yeah.
3, 5, that, like, how is King ever supposed to leak again? On Wave 7, he has the highest work account, and the highest value, and the highest income, all on one player. Easily holds, like, a double brute send, and from there, what, Xcod and Ashton, do they have any real hopes to come back, or is it just the King Dan show?
Yeah, definitely very tricky spot that they ended up in, especially after that wave 7. I mean, maybe King was a little lucky to snipe both the brutes, but in any case, it looked like he was doing really
Yeah.
well. So
Even if he didn't
um,
snipe both brutes, he's leaking like 30-40%, you
yeah,
know,
maybe
it's
just like a brute and a creep or something
yeah.
like that. But I
He's
mean, it makes a
probably,
difference. But
yeah, it makes a difference, yeah. Like the fact that he full held there means that he is just overwhelmingly far ahead.
mhm.
But even if he
But he
leaks
was still ahead.
40%, he's still ahead. Yeah, he's just not
Yeah.
like insurmountable anymore, but
Yeah, and they made a really good call that game as well to just hard push for that 12.
yeah.
And maybe Ashen felt like he was super safe there with the Haven and even the Pyro just wasn't enough.
Mhm.
And yeah, King's partly not sending a pack leader there. So well done to him.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, look, Xcod and Ashton, that was a rough game for them. So let's start fresh in game two. What do you think they need to do in terms of mixing up their game plan? How are they going to play this one differently? Do you think to put King Downs and Fine on the back foot?
I mean, I think we just need to see a better early game. Um, like if King can be not quite so ahead, just literally on wave 3 and 4, like
Yeah.
8 workers, 7 workers, should give Ashton a better chance to come out ahead. So
So maybe literally just not picking Fiesta might do it.
yeah, and he goes for the Saboteur, so it worked for him in the previous series. Let's see if it does so here. And what will Finding King go for?
That kind of suggests that it wasn't a misclick the first time Ashton
Yeah,
picked Saboteur.
unless he's really having trouble clicking his mastermind.
I mean, clicking is hard, to be fair.
Wow, 2 champ picks. So the champ buffs coming out, and we have 2 of them. Do we see
Absolute
like a
beast.
champ Poda? I know
They
champ
both
Poda
have
with Sorcerer.
really, really good champion targets. So, like, Xcod
Yeah,
has, well, they both have Pota, in fact. They also both have Sovereign with Butcher,
yeah.
or Dread Knight
Fine
on the
could
side of
even
Xcod.
Grawl, right? He could Grawl into the Champion Avenger.
Yeah,
Um, or he could, just play Poto, which seems pretty reasonable with this role. We'll see what he goes
yeah.
for. I know XCOD definitely loves saving the champion for the big guy.
I mean, you can, right? Then you just end up playing it more like a castle thing. So,
Yeah.
with Champion, if you use it on like a tier 3, then you're playing for the early game, right? You're playing like a
Mhm.
cash out. If you're holding it to put onto like a tier 6 on wave 9, then you're effectively playing castle instead. So you just have to adapt your playstyle accordingly.
Working Dance. Getting
Oh,
snelled because Ashton is Saboteur.
absolute beast. Ashton might be the only player that I think actually favours picking Saboteur in Nova Cup, and
Yeah.
I don't see it myself. Like, I absolutely hate this mastermind.
Yeah, I mean, I think he just sees it as like, give me some high income mastermind and I'll
Yeah,
take over.
but he also likes taking king damage, and Saboteur, not a fan.
Yeah, maybe we'll see if Exo goes with the same strategy where he literally spams Income King.
Yeah,
And he is probably gonna go for Champ Poda. I can't imagine you open Poda and not go for it. So we'll see. He did end up with the Butcher Avenger, like you talked about.
I mean they have no reason to use it yet, right? They could hold
Yeah,
it
yeah,
until wave 4 and see how things are going.
for sure. Exo is starting the King ups early.
He's also getting fed a snail here, so that's +4.
Yeah. So far, so good. King kind of has a weird early game with like his only units that he can build being Windhawk and Veteran, so can't push 6 here. Ashen will push 7, obviously, with the casket, and should be a nice early game for him.
There is the champ used by Fine on the Priestess, and X-God still holding.
What a beast.
Absolute machine of the server.
It really doesn't hide much at this point, but it's a nice flex.
I mean, he's not under any pressure, right? So,
Yeah,
he does use it, okay.
what a scaredy cat. Let's see. I mean, it should be a nice, pretty calm. I wonder if Fine will go 7 workers, and he does. And yeah, you can see. So this is just X-God strat with the Saboteurs. Literally, I will income king every wave in the early game, so we have a lot of king-ups.
Yeah. Well, it worked really well against L1 and Shadow, but Fine and King Den's definitely capable of punishing that.
Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, going auto send into someone of Fine's caliber is not always the best plan,
Yeah.
but it may be his only plan for now. And he goes for one more round of king up, so we'll see. I mean, Shadow went to 9 workers that game on 5. We'll see if Fine goes for the same. King is starting a little airplane academy over here.
Oh. He's speedrunning that 4th Wilet.
Yeah, he does have to upgrade them, but he is hopefully going to hold this snail send. And X-God is playing pretty risky himself. He has a much worse unit on wave 4 than Fine. And he'll stay 7 workers because he didn't get a sent, whereas Fine does go to that 8th worker. And will they go for some full sents, or what's their plan with all this Mythium?
I mean, X-God's looking really good on 5 in particular, but if they want it to go straight to wave 6, that could look quite scary, I think, against both.
Yeah. And Fine goes to 9 workers.
Oh, and they say...
while saving.
Yeah, okay. Wave 6 is looking quite scary, I think, for Ashton and X-God.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe he can get out the Violet. He did feed his cat, so maybe not. We'll see. I mean, Champ Poda is kind of a beast on wave 6.
So wave 5 is 108 gold. He's got 49 gold on top of that. So 157. He would need 23 gold.
Yeah. And Ashton goes for a full send here into King. I mean, King has some value, but man, his units are kind of bad. Or like, I mean, it's 3 Windhawks.
If
but...
King leaks here, this is looking really good for X-God's Violet Fund, though.
That's true, that's true. And it does look like he's going for a small leak.
Yeah, he's got this split tank here at the end, though.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe he just leaks the Lizard, which would be really nice for him, because maybe he gets to that...
Okay.
No, he won't get to Mimic.
4 creeps, so that's a little bit of gold there for X-God. I don't think it's going to be enough, though, and he doesn't quite have 60 Mythium to send, so he's going to be a little bit short of that Violet.
Yeah. And Mimic is here, Brutes are here, and X-God doesn't even send, because he's not getting it. He's literally just going to go King Ups.
I mean, he's going to pay the price here. He's going to leak pretty hard, I think.
Yeah... I don't think Ashen's going to have a nice time against the Mimic either. I think they're both going to have a rough one.
And with only 5 King attacks upgraded, they're about to lose a pretty big chunk of King HP, I fear.
We'll see if X-God goes for some King attacks or not. He doesn't, so he's going for those save to try and punish Fine. So Fine kind of all in on this. Said he needs all the gold.
Let's keep track of this Mimic.
It's not doing a great job. In fact, it's doing a very bad job.
Wait a minute, is Ashton just an absolute machine? Okay, he can't quite kill the Mimic, but he's doing phenomenally well here. And only 12 gold on that Mimic, so... Yeah, I think Ashton's happy with that, but X-God didn't do quite so well. There's 3 Brutes reaching the King here.
Yeah, and, I mean, he is saving for probably this send of his own on 7?
Yeah, the problem is Fine's getting a ton of gold here, though.
Yeah, he's probably getting to... almost getting to a tier 6 here, right? And in fact, he is for sure. So, tier 6 of your choice, probably the Avenger. And I would hope Fine goes for, Like a second column would be nice here to just get a little more split tanking in.
Mhm.
Because even though it's a little Washroom, like it's better, right? To try and
Yeah,
get
yeah.
some better, more value out of your units. King actually going for a Brute of his own here. X-God probably gonna have a full DPS Poda if he keeps his split like this. He may get punished.
And the Pota's tanking 3, actually. It could be worse.
Yeah, could be worse for sure, and we'll see how
But
Fine does
let's
here.
keep eyes on Fine. He gets the bigger send here, 116 Mythium. The Avenger and the Shroom split tanking exactly as you called it, Offma, so really maximising his value there. Avenger does finally go down.
Yeah, so no Brute Snipe for him. So what a noob. Needs to learn from his teammate how to do it. King kind of going for a Waldo here almost. Or he
Yeah.
is. Against the Dino.
Oh wait, there's another Windhawk alive.
Oh, they're... Ah, okay.
They're doing the
Well-
old stacking on top of each other trick.
Yeah, I mean, still gonna be a Waldo, just a much smaller one.
Yeah. That's no Violet, that's
yeah.
4 Windhawks in a trench coat.
And I honestly, if Ashen had gone for a full reset, that could have been pretty bad for them. But
Yeah.
hopefully, King will build a unit that doesn't start with Windhawk or Veteran.
I mean, right now it
Fine,
looks
cool.
like King Dans is playing YOLO to me, but we know he's not.
Yeah, he will get the bunk out finally, and we do have a mole try against Ashen here, but he looks like it will be a snack.
Hmm. Yeah, I
I
mean, this
mean-
thing should kill them all fairly quickly.
He's probably gonna lose this Atom.
Yeah.
We'll see. But you can see X-God going for some King Ups again.
Yeah, Casket gets onto the wave, so won't waste any more spells.
Won't get many more spells, unfortunately. Only have the one.
Yeah, he's
So it
actually going to
does
leak
look like this-
decently
yeah.
here. He's
I'm-
doing much worse than I thought.
Yeah, I thought this would be much better, so pretty good recognition from Fine here to get that leak off. And King will be fine as well. Fine will be fine.
Okay. Well, X-God at least should be able to cover all of this, so no more King damage. I think this game's still pretty even, despite the fact that
Yeah, I mean-
X-Crash have lost nearly half of their King's HP. Economically, they're in a very good spot.
Yeah, I think Ashton did really, really well on 6, and he's kind of ahead with the Saboteur. And he's got a really nasty roll, so it may be enough for him to just carry with.
Yeah, I mean, Disciple is still absolutely disgusting in the late game. We have had some nerfs to the synergy, so like the Starcaller Disciple Circle is no longer fantastic on its own, but he has a lot of other really strong mana users, right? So he can just have Sovereigns on his Disciple, or Caskets, or Boom Trees, or what have you. He's got a lot of options.
Oh, and King may be getting caught here.
Ah, yeah,
We'll
he
see.
actually greeded.
Can 3 Windhawks in a bunk kill Wave 9?
Was he shifting for a Haven?
I think that's his plan. That was his plan, yeah.
And Ashton reading him like a
Yeah.
book, it seems. This is going to be a decent leak here on Wave 9, so 76% there. And that is the classic Ashton send as well, right? The Cannoneer
Yeah.
pre-income, the Brute post-income.
He loves that Sun on 9.
They're even going to get a little bit of King damage, I think. I don't think the Catapult can fully cover this, because it
Yeah.
just has way less DPS in melee range.
So let's see. Ghost Knight coming into
Oh, that's scary,
X-God's
though.
lane. And yeah, his only answer is the Avenger, so... Well, never mind. He's going with the GK killer instead. I
Yeah.
kind of like that a lot more.
Good call, honestly, from X-God, and he's probably thinking, like, I'm going to leak anyway if they send on 10,
Yeah.
so I might as well just build the thing that's going to be stronger on 11 and 12.
Yeah, and I like that. It's going to be really nice for him. King does end up with the Haven, regardless.
Mhm.
Fine, also going for the Azuria, and X-God going for a save here as well, so maybe thinking about potential 12 play of his own. There's overwork in the game. I mean, Sorcerer would be juicy, no doubt, but
And X-God turbo rewarded for the Azeria here because he is
yeah,
able to kill the
one-shot
Ghost
in the
Knight
AK.
fairly quickly, honestly.
Yeah, and probably still gonna leak pretty badly,
Yeah, of
but
course. Like, he's terrible on this
at least he
wave,
got the
but
gold.
82% there. It was a 300 send, and Ashton should be able to cover a decent chunk of this.
Yeah, went for the Star Color. I mean, it does set themselves up for a weak wave 12 together, so that's probably what this game is coming to. Overwork in the game, Sorcerer in the game. King does have that Haven though, so Ashton's just gonna go income.
I mean,
No
Ashton's
Overwork
just a
yet.
beast, isn't he? Ashton doesn't need a game
Wow.
plan. He just goes me scale.
X God went for post income full King ups.
That is wild. That's honestly wild. I can
That's kind of a crazy
understand that
play.
he's just pressuring fine and maybe enabling Ashton to scale. But
And Ashton goes Venture while getting saved on. Absolute legend.
I feel like X-God could have done some serious damage here on 12.
Yeah. But maybe felt like they're in danger of dying on 12 and just wants to make sure they have full King.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Overwork could have been the choice from Fine and King, but instead they both go Sorcerer. King actually hiding his Sorcerer, making it really look like he took Overwork. They could be doing this so that they can get to 14, maybe? But, I mean, you kind of have to go 12 into Ashen, or else
Yeah.
you took Venture.
Maybe they're just not expecting him to have taken Venture, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, and he's gonna be completely Giga rewarded. Like, he's probably gonna be...
Ashton
I think the game might be
absolutely
over.
getting away with murder here. Yeah, really nice read there from the Butcher.
What a beast. And he's chilling on 300 income while while other team is saving, so pretty nice for him. X-God continuing to do king ups. His one job this game is get them to full king.
Mhm.
The only thing Ashton can do. And yeah, I mean, with the Venture Gold, he's about to pop out with the full Sovereign, get maybe the Casket upgrade, another Boom Tree. Best of luck leaking him.
Yeah, I mean, Ashton's just going to be plus value next wave, right, with the Venture Gold?
Yeah. And probably on Valley on 14 as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they definitely can't go 13, so...
Well, we'll see, because we have been in a similar spot to this before, right? When Shadow and L1 were saving on Ashton and X-God. And Ashton and X-God, they just never really went below value because their income was so high, they were able to outscale the pressure. So we'll have to see if Fine and King Dance can change that tune.
Yeah, I mean, Ashton is in fact overvalued here with the Venture Gold. X-God not quite, but, you know, doing his best. And they did start saving themselves, so want to have a little bit of pressure on 14.
Yeah, Ashton's actually 135 overvalue now.
Beast.
Machine. Huh. Well, things are getting
Now what?
tricky now for King and Fine, because
Yeah,
do they continue saving and go like wave 15? They can, but it's so all in as a play. They do
They
go
just
here on
go
14.
income, yeah.
Okay, and Fine is just going for an auto send.
yeah, it feels terrible, but I mean, what else can you do? You need to try and keep
Yeah.
yourself in the game as well, but I mean, I think the game is trending poorly. 16 is probably coming after this.
Yeah. I mean, they've correctly read that Ashton is not really going to be leaking here on 14, so they just go income into him. King Dance should get a decent chunk of gold from leaking X-God here, but honestly, X-God's not terrible himself.
The nucleus is here.
Uh-oh. It's time.
He's cooking.
Big fan of the Nucleus myself, though I think you kind of need a bit more tank value to really make it work.
Yeah. I mean, he is in that spot where he can kind of get it cooking.
Yeah. One more, like, Disciple to buff a bunch of atoms and a Nucleus.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that combo works really well with mana. Wait, X-God is just easily holding, and it's not even close. I guess he's
it's
really high
1v1.
value, but...
Or
Azeria?
single
Okay.
combat?
Okay, not even close. Yeah, yeah.
78.
Now, let's see how much gold King Dans gets from a 1 HP Needler. 124. Wow. Okay. Thanks, Jules.
It's a bit of a swing.
Yeah.
But yeah, now Xgod is past finding King Dans, and Ashen is, a little bit up there. It's a tricky game now.
Yeah, I mean, but they were in such a tough spot, right? Like,
yeah,
you kind of feel like your opportunity is just slipping further and further away because every wave that goes by, they just income send. Ashton's further ahead in value, and you're further behind. So what you keep saving, and then what? Legion TD3?
Yeah, just one of those games from Ashen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Ashton's now, like, essentially doubling the worker count of his opponents.
Yeah, and they just go Income King here to try and live 16.
Yeah, that's a tall order, though. They're not fantastic on 16, and the sends are going to be huge.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see Siege Rams actually into King Dans because we can kind of expect him to boost some veterans and, well, effectively all of his DPS is ranged, right?
Yeah, that could have made some sense here for sure.
But I think honestly, like, any send is going to leak him big, so
yeah. Well, maybe he's got a melee unit. Watch out.
Oh, beast.
It's one-shotting the ram. Fine. What do we have here? Arctears, but I'm not sure why there's an ogre in Fine's lane, but the Needler is there as well.
Well, let's keep eyes on Fine's Azeria, because this could be very important, how quickly she goes down. Yeah, she's tanking really nicely, it seems. Yeah. Does get the heal off.
Oh, he could snipe the Needler. It did get procced by the buzz.
Yeah, Azeria's still alive as well. Killing all the melee sends. Wait, Fine?
Oh, no, didn't go on the Needler yet.
Maybe King is leaking full, of course, but Fine couldn't have really asked for better tanking there on his Azeria.
Yeah. So they should live.
Yeah, I think they'll live, and a lot of that is down to Fine's Azeria surviving there, because honestly, that's the difference between him leaking this 78% and, like, double that amount.
Yeah, for sure. We still have the problem of leaking the enemies, though. Holding was almost holding was good start, but
yeah.
Ashen has started up that Starcaller nucleus circle.
I mean, if we just run a quick comparison on like where the four players are economically, Fine and Ashton have similar value, King Dans and Xgod have similar value, they have similar income numbers as well, but Ashton and Xgod are just so far ahead in terms of worker count that it's
well, they're only similar in value because Ashen is shifting.
Yeah. Well, Fine has decided to go for what looks like a bit of a Sui push.
Yeah, which probably is the best chance, right? Because you have to leak Ashen at some point. But I don't think Xgod is slouching that much either. He's going to do great on whatever wave comes.
Fine is going for a full suicide play. It looks like he's got another 6 workers queued up. But the really interesting thing is that even his full suicide play, he still has fewer workers than Ashton.
Yeah. I wonder if they're... Well, he might leak here and then give the hand, but like, could play for 19 on the full sui. Maybe not after this.
Oh, Ashton's pinging on shore. Yeah, and the catapult just has no DPS in melee, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so will Ashton and Xgod decide to send here then?
They might think it's like a fake sui.
Yeah. Well,
but I kind of like this, playing for 19 with King's only chance, basically.
They don't save. Honestly, balls of steel from all 4 players here in this lobby, because even though I think King has a pretty good chance... Well, I mean, King's value is crazy. What happened?
Well, I think Ashton's workers might have happened here.
Yeah, true.
So, I mean, it'll be an interesting whatever happens. Ashton, wow. So he's all in on the nucleus.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it, yeah. He has the bucklers in the trees for...
I actually don't like these. I think these could be things that buff the atoms more. Like they can be atoms and then just tank value.
Yeah. So a little bit undervalue on the left side.
Alright, the Nucleus is about to pop. Look at those things go. Absolutely insane DPS.
One-shotting the way, holy moly. So Fine does go for a small leak here. Big sense. They're not. Okay, he's cleaning up.
Yeah, they're still going to take a little tap on the king here, I think. But yeah, I mean, Ashton and X-God would definitely have won if they'd sent here on 18.
Yeah, and let's have a look.
Alright, Fine, I don't think is going to hold here.
Yeah, just a little bit under.
King, I mean, King is
just a little bit
strong
under as
here,
well.
but King is 3,000 undervalue. Ashton is very strong here, but he's also 2,000 undervalue, and X-God is closest to value with around minus 1,500, but he also full hardened last wave.
Yeah. So we'll see him. He's going to re-harden here. I guess he felt like he hardens last wave. They have no chance of winning on... Like, the other team can't win on 19
Yeah.
when they send as well. So let's see.
Alright, I mean, the sends are huge. Fine is obviously going to leak everything. Kingdan's presumably not too far behind, but this Haven is doing its job. It is on the wave already.
It's kind of cooking, but it's now dead.
Yeah, it's too little too late. It's, you know, a valiant effort indeed.
No. I said this held on the longest.
I think X-Crash died to these leaks as well, but of course they will win the race here.
Yeah.
The King on Fire and Kingdans is just way too low.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, this game was just as one-sided in favour of Ashton and X-God as the previous one was for Fine and Kingdans, I think.
Pretty much, right? Ashton kind of just escaped. And yeah, I mean, he never really came down after that venture play, which was pretty ballsy by him, but also he was on value on wave 12 anyways, so it's not like it was like insanely risky. Just a good calculation from him.
Yeah.
And it makes it more interesting. I'm curious what he'll play next game, because Mastermind-wise, I guess they still have redraw available?
Well, both sides basically have everything, right? They've only won the one game aside each, so they still have pretty much everything left to play for. I don't think we'll see Ashton taking Fiesta again after the performance in Game 1.
Yeah. And I mean, would he ever play YOLO? Probably not.
I don't know. See, I think Ashton is definitely a big YOLO fan in general and on the ladder. But it's quite risky, isn't it, to pick it up in game 3 in Nova Cup? So I don't know.
Maybe lock-in random? Probably a safer choice. I know he likes it. Maybe lock-in random redraw for them. And
I think King and Fine are both known Chaos abusers, so I would imagine one of those will pick Chaos.
Could be, yeah. Could be, or maybe like they might just play standard as well. It's always a possibility. Maybe they're just based on the Legion spells.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's the good thing about best of 3, right? Is you pretty much have your whole suite of masterminds to choose from because you're only locking out 2 after a win. So you can just play flexi based on what you see on the Legion spells and all the rest of it. And I think, these guys at this level, they can play every mastermind extremely well. So
yeah. And okay, we have the Butcher in the lobby. Let's see, I mean, they swapped the sending order from the first game, where I think King was sending into Ashton. And seemed to go much better, so perhaps, I mean, it doesn't look like finding King care, so...
Alright, Ashton needs a minute, so we've got a little bit of padding to do, which is great. If anyone in Twitch chat has like a spare throat that they could donate to me, I'd be very appreciative because mine is absolutely dead.
It's a valiant performance as well from Pennywise.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've picked YOLO and got a very unlucky roll right now.
Yeah. Cheapest unit, tier 4.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
would love to see a YOLO pick though,
I
if
would
he
love to
has
see a
one
YOLO
any.
pick. I don't think any of these four players strike me as like a scrapper player. So I'd be surprised to see that one picked up. X Grizz joining the lobby.
Yeah, just in case X God needed some help.
Yeah. Okay. It's really interesting between these two teams because at the start of the match, before we saw any play, we said it was too close to call. And then we had two like really one-sided games. Uh,
Yeah. And oh, they do swap the sending order actually. So
okay. So King does
back
want
to
to
what
send it into
won.
Ashton again.
Back to what worked.
They may have to close these slots to prevent X Grizz from going rogue.
Alright, looks like everyone is ready.
Ashton is back. We should be able to get the game underway. And this one will be the decider, guys. So the scoreline is 1-1 with Kingdans and Fine versus Ashton and Xgod. The first two games, both pretty stompy, but in favour of different teams. So let's see, will Game 3 be just as one-sided? Or will we get a super back-and-forth match? We're about to find out, guys. Here's game number 3. And there's
Wow.
Scrapper. Oh, but it's Megamind. Okay.
And I mean, oh, wow.
Kingdowns
A
with a
little
Fiesta.
Kingdoms, okay. And with the goes with the Fiesta cartel to try and take out Ashton, maybe. I mean, there's AoE in the
Interesting.
game.
Very, very
It's always a
interesting.
solid one. And Xcode has a pretty nice role.
I think Xcod has a really nice role there for Scrapper,
Yeah.
actually. Like, look at that kind of Leviathan, Archer, Phoenix trilogy
Yeah.
with good tanks to support it. And all of the flexibility that Scrapper gives him in terms of like when to drop those key pieces.
Yeah. Fine has a pretty nice early game role as well as a completely broken late game role. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
only in that mid game where he's a little bit weak, but like maybe wave 14, you could see him falter a bit. But
yeah,
King looks like he has those mid game waves on lock with the catapult, the Avenger, and he's gonna get started with a pretty nice Fiesta with Consort.
yeah. Other than the fact that King has like 3 cheap units, this looks like my average YOLO roll. Except if this was my YOLO roll, the Treant would be my cheapest unit.
Yeah, of course. And the Whirly Bird for Xcode. So yeah, I mean, I think his plan is going to be, let's use the Whirly Bird and the Howlers to get me out of the early game, and then I'll just start selling them slowly for my Turbo late game Flying Force build.
Yeah, I think that's a really good line.
Yeah. And it makes getting the Phoenix out way easier with the Scrappers, so perhaps we'll see some Howlers donated to the Firelord cause.
Yeah. The one downside, perhaps, being that Scrapper, as a low-income mastermind, might not be able to snowball off the Fiesta of Kingdans as easily as something else.
And it is gonna be a 40 cent potentially into Ashton here. Of
Yeah,
which
looks
I
like
think
it.
he's just gonna have to take it, but
Now, he's not quite going to get there, is he? I think he's going to be, like,
close.
one Mythium off.
Yeah, you're right. A perfect 19.
Wait. Yeah, didn't get it.
So
Alright,
pretty
so
nice price in there.
with the one snail, Ashton should be fine.
And King has rerolled away his bazooka. Said didn't need that cheap unit anyways.
King did go 6 workers here as well. And, well, I mean, I guess he's hoping to build a Treant on 3. But Xgod's going to be farming a ton of gold over these waves.
Yeah.
He did get his guy, though.
Absolutely destroyed. Do we think Ashton can come back after that?
He's going to struggle.
Yeah. And we do have a cover from Fine, so it's always good. King can send 60, but that's all just that's food for Ashton's skeleton. And yeah, King does get the tree.
Yeah, King's going to be leaking pretty decently again, though. Like, that's a
Yeah.
60 send coming out from X-God. I mean, fully buffed tree is pretty good, but the consorts are just dead value on 3.
Yeah, we'll see how he does. Fine going for a full send here, actually. Snuck in an extra snail, but X-God not so easily tricked. Or is he?
No, X-God should be fine here with the double Whirlybird and that split
double,
tanking
yeah.
as well. It's pretty perfect for him. Ashton, of course, with the Scallywag, he's completely fine.
Yeah. And how is King doing? Pretty good, honestly.
Yeah,
Really good.
Yeah, way better than I expected. Jeez, that Treant is broken.
Yeah, he's kind of a beast on the first wave, and he can get out that second consort now and I mean the struggle for him is how do you get to the real units, but perhaps he'll find a way. And absolute beast cover god, fine, not letting anything past him.
And King Dan's actually went 9 workers, so
Yeah, who needs the second consort?
Yeah, X-God saved here, so King Dan's I think is
Yeah.
just going to get away with murder.
Yeah, I wonder, is it possible for him to get out, like sell to get the the boom tree? That would be pretty crazy.
Huh. So he's going to get... He needs about 40 gold in order for that to happen.
Yeah, that's maybe not on the cards.
Yeah.
Fine does look like he's in a bit of trouble here. I don't know exactly what happened in his lane, but looks a bit bad. Don't worry, King has the cover here.
Yeah. Full holding, what a beast.
Kind of crazy full hold, but
Oh, he just
And
absolutely
will he-
got away with murder there for the fact that
Yeah.
X-God didn't send, like, a snail.
yeah, that would have been some good King damage.
Yeah.
But he goes for the Cannoneer now. Maybe X-God is expecting that boom tree, and he does
There it
just
is,
barely
yeah.
get
He
it.
had to sell
but-
2 consorts for it, though.
Yeah, and he is gonna farm Fiestas now, though.
Yeah.
Like, the Cannoneer is always gonna leak, and he's going for a leak of his own into Ashton here.
Here's
who
some very
does have-
real sends coming on the side of King Dan's and Fine, though. We've got
Yeah.
triple Robo into Ashton, we've got brute Robo into X-God.
Yeah. Double Robo. Didn't quite get there in the end,
He
but
just added the snail instead. This is really crucial, though. Does
Yeah.
the Scorpion go down? It does. The Seraphim is alive, so that's infinite added damage. Yeah, really nice there. King Dan's leaking to the Cannoneer, as expected. X-God leaks
X-God,
quite
yeah.
heavily, though, meanwhile.
and it does look like this will be a small leak.
If only he could have killed 1 Robo.
Yeah. But, you know, Ashton's probably fine with that. It's more just
Yeah.
there's King damage coming now. And we have to think about the next play because, I mean, right now, I saw it does look very vulnerable on 7 and 8, but it's just going to be income for now and reevaluate as the game goes on. Ashton is really pushed here.
Yeah, holy. 11
Ooh.
workers there.
This King Dan's secretly playing Scrapper,
Huh.
and he's going to be Astra rewarded, looks like, because he's getting double brooded here. Probably still leaking?
I don't know. I mean, Avenger's
And he doesn't have
really good
Avenger.
on 6. And the split
is
tank
split
as well is
tanking.
perfect.
And the boom tree isn't useless, but, I mean, this would be... Let's see, I don't think it's holding, but... Can I kill this brood, maybe?
Yeah, okay.
Wow,
Well,
alright,
still leaking with the Scrapper is not great for King Dan's. He's lost a
Yes.
lot of value, actually. He sold 2 buzzes and a consort now. That's a lot of gold.
Selling is inefficient.
Yeah, unless you're X-God.
Unless you're Hexod, and then it is decently efficient.
Then it is slightly more efficient.
So pretty good for Xcode. I would expect him to be climbing up the power score. In fact, he climbed down the power score somehow, but
Beast.
such is the way of Legion sometimes. And he's going for that wave 8 for sure. King has a catapult, I guess, for there. But he may still be in some trouble against the real Send. It would be cool to see like a gold gain from Scrapper or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Some sort of measurement for how much scrapping did you do.
Yeah. Jules, if you want to write that one down, something that we could add in here about the Scrapper gold saved.
But so far, pretty much Xcode is the only one going for that big save here. Everyone else playing for that income. Obviously, Fine is Cartel, so we kind of need to track if he's able to actually get ahead or he's just Cartel ahead.
Yeah.
1 snail for his LOD, 2 snails for King's Catapult. And we'll see. I mean, Mole, 2 Robos. This could be some trouble. Obviously, Fine will cover.
Yeah, Fine is extremely strong here.
And what is he thinking with that save? Does he just want that 9 resent? Probably. There will be a Fire Lord, most likely.
Yeah. Alright, 200 Mythium then for King Dance. He's on very high value.
The tree made it all the way to the wave, so that's
Yeah.
always good. But high value, not the best units.
This thing's pretty good on ranged waves, though, even when the typing's
Yeah.
not great, because it
Does
always
get
gets to
that,
do high
yeah.
damage.
And with the APS, it looks like it's actually kind of pumping. I swear this unit has the worst thresholds on 8, though. Like, I see it leave stuff on 1 HP all the time. But still Fiesta, right? And against the full send, so
Yeah.
he's probably happy.
It's
And
actually a
Fine now
pretty,
gonna go.
pretty good Fiesta for him.
Yeah, Fine going for a full send here. Xcode gonna disappearing act some of his units, probably.
Let's see what he scraps.
Uh, you are. What?
X-God.
Xcode? We need a Fire Lord this wave, I think. No?
Okay.
Maybe he. Honestly, I would not. It would not surprise me that if he just like kind of forgot he was playing Scrapper. Well, he
Yeah.
remembered there.
He's Megamind, right? So he hasn't chosen to play Scrapper.
Whoa. Okay.
Oh, he scrapped something.
Scrapped a dog for a dog.
Okay. He just wanted it to be higher up.
Yeah, I guess because he has the Levi now, so the Levi is the one that tanks.
Yeah.
Sniping a brute. That's a good start.
That's pretty sweet. And
Yeah,
honestly,
really good
the dog
tanking
did
with
its
the
job.
Levi.
The Leviathan's still alive.
Yeah, so pretty nicely positioned. But now I think he's running into that problem. Damage
Yeah.
problem, maybe. But honestly,
Well, these things with the Leviathan buff are not doing
Yeah.
bad damage here on wave 9.
yeah, for -10, you're probably okay with these units on your board, and you can scrap them later, I suppose.
Uh-huh. That's actually quite an interesting way to play Scrapper, right? You can just spam
Literally,
like
yeah.
early game units and then sell them with much reduced cost.
Yeah, finding King a little bit ahead from this early game. King Dan's with maybe he can go for his 3rd tier 6 of the game,
He does,
and he
yeah.
does.
And they're all unique as well.
Yeah, I mean this is kind of a sick build to have. He has 5 units on his board. All 5 are unique, and 3 of them are tier 6s somehow.
He's just a beast, right? What can I say?
Yeah. Fine is starting up his flying force. And they're saving, probably looking at some sort of 11 play, I would guess. But I don't know. Ashen does have the DK, they can go double spread your wealth. Maybe it's just an income play?
There will be a small leak here from Fine.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
That's a bit of gold going the way of Ashton.
Yeah.
King and Fine,
There
they
we go,
do
full.
send here. Okay, so there's the 4 eyes coming out.
We do have the big guy.
Yeah, I feel like we
Available.
should.
And we should see Xsquad start the scrapping, hopefully. Assuming he remembers he's Scrapper. I mean, honestly, he might have just like sold that howler and been like, "Wow, I have a lot of gold."
Yeah, I have 6 more gold than I expected.
But pretty big send with the AOA, obviously. What are they thinking about? I feel like they kind of have to take spread with these values.
Yeah.
Okay, here comes the Scrapper. Quick maths. Okay, so of course he remembers. I mean, it's X God.
Yeah, what a beast.
So only one 4-eye means that this Phoenix will kind of pop off. The Brute is hitting it once. The
Yeah.
pack is staying alive,
The
but
Phoenix is doing
kind of
really good there.
smurfing,
Yeah,
and
it's
it
getting the
looks like
4
a
eyes focus
fold.
now.
Or not a fold, but
Yeah, kind of
a
beast
good
mode,
hold.
honestly, though, from X-God.
Yeah. I mean, that is the power Scrapper.
But Ashton's getting
Obviously,
absolutely run over.
yeah, it's rough. The main guy got targeted, and then
Yeah.
yeah, the rest fell. I mean, he has no synergy with his guy. Is the problem, right?
They did save, but
Yeah.
yeah, maybe they just shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Oh wait, they're dead. They definitely shouldn't have
Oh,
saved.
they definitely shouldn't have. Upon further reflection.
Well, wow, okay. I was kind
Kind
of
of
thinking
out
that
of
game
nowhere,
3
yeah.
was like the closest game of the
Yeah, and then
series
they
in
die.
terms of the first 10 waves, and then they just win on 11. Okay, brilliant. Well,
Well.
that's one way to end the
Okay.
series.
Yeah. Mhm.
So, King Dans and Fine, they are guaranteed through to tomorrow's semi-finals. So, congratulations to those guys. Very, very
Yeah,
well
well played.
played. Ashton and X-God, I would imagine, are as surprised by that result as we are. Um, they had options. Like, if they just send their Mythian there, they at least stay in the game.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
that much is
if
true.
X-God auto sends there, he's holding easily, right? Like, even with... He had 400 Mythium,
Yeah.
and without sending, he leaked 3 creeps and a 4 eyes. So,
Yeah.
huh.
I think just a couple more melees to buy time for, like, even just, like,
Yeah?
2, 3 more howlers, right? Like,
Yeah, literally, that's all it needs to be is like something to keep the 4 eyes off the Phoenix for
yeah.
3 more seconds, and then the Phoenix one shots the 4 eyes. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of brutal, honestly. And then Ashton just got absolutely overwhelmed. Like he did get the Dread Knight down, but he just was lacking the tank value everywhere else on his board. So the Dread Knight got run over, and he leaked everything as we saw. So yeah, I mean, commiserations, Ashton and X-God, but their tournament journey is not yet over. Do we have a result from the L1 game?
I think we do. I think it was L1 2-1 against For Fun.
Ah, yeah, looks like it was, yeah. So L1 and Shadow are through to the last chance match. So that means, guys, we will have a repeat of the first series of the day. This time,
Yeah.
though, it's for all the marbles. Whoever wins the next series will make it through to the semi-finals, while the loser will be out of the tournament. So everything to play for in that one. We did see Shadow and L1 try a couple of spicy things in the first series, but honestly, they played it way too income heavy for my liking. Like I have their strength in the the long save, the strategic kind of play, and I'd really like to see them go back to their roots in this last chance
Yeah.
match. But we'll see. We'll be back here, guys, in about 10 minutes for that last chance match. So don't go anywhere, and we will see you then.
It's good.
Is this intentional?
All right, welcome back, guys. Welcome back. You are just in time for the last series of the day. It will be the last chance match. It will be a repeat of the first game that we saw as well. So, Offmer, it's once again X-Crash versus Emma and the Circus. Do you think Shadow and L1 will be able to make the result any different this time around, or will we see a repeat of the first series?
Well, I think the exact result might be different, but I would still give it to Xcode and Ashton. I think the other thing is it's easier for Xcode and Ashton to play the second or this series just because they've had a little more experience. Like generally when you play against a new team, you kind of don't really know how they're going to play. So unless Shadow and L1 go for some mix-ups, some different styles, then you might see a similar result.
Yeah, that's fair. And I did sort of mention before we went on break, I'd really like to see L1 and Shadow dive a bit deeper into the kind of early game, highly aggressive focus. So the first series, I think they played way too income heavy for their playstyle. Like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe for L1 that's fine, right? But Shadow Wings is kind of famous for his early game pressure, ogres on 7 and things like that. So I'd really
Yeah.
like them to go back to basics in that sense and see if that sort of playstyle can put XGod and Ashton on the back foot a little bit, because we see when they try to go for that heavy income playstyle, uh, that's where Ashton is most at home, right? And he absolutely snowballed in the first series. So I think if you're trying to go toe to toe with Ashton in an income meta, you're pretty much gonna lose. But I think anyone is I think you could say the same for pretty much any player in the game. If you're trying to out income Ashton Butcher, you're on to a loser. Where I think they need to kind of push him out of his comfort zone, and that's where I think someone like Shadow can excel, and I'd really
Yeah.
like to see him try that this time around.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what they need. And I think I just checked the two games from Shadow. He played Fiesta and Stash, so something like that could give them exactly the kind of element they need.
Okay. Well, we have got a full lobby now, guys, so hopefully we can get this one underway. This will be our last series of the day, and then of course we've got tomorrow's semi-finals to come. So we're a pretty exciting weekend all around. The games so far have been pretty fun. We even got to see Scrapper, although XGod
Yeah.
only really used it once, I would say, with
Yeah,
the pivot to Phoenix.
he was scrapping.
No, he
I mean,
scrapped.
I think definitely you can kind of see the potential. So maybe I have to reevaluate it a little bit, but definitely pretty cool if more people will pull it out.
All right, it looks like the players are ready, guys, so we should be able to get this last chance match underway. All right, well, they said they're ready, and now now we're just waiting. All right, back to padding. So do you think we'll see a Scrapper pick? So we saw it mega minded there by XCOD. Do you think any of these 4 players will pick it?
I don't think so in a best of 3, unless X Squad was having so much fun that he wants to play it.
Yeah. Well, we are about to find out. The players are now finally ready. So, guys, game number 1. Let's go!
So AOA in the game, Megamind redraw. Wow. Megamind champ, and he could go for the gate. Lock in. Wait, he locked in Proton. That's not lock in random.
What a beast.
Uh, that roll does not look very good. Let me
Eh?
just say it like that.
I mean, the roll has tanks and proton. Honestly, don't roll it out.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. The butcher, the gun, and the Hades aren't doing anything in this roll, right? But he can re-roll. But this unit has really impressed me so far this patch. Like with the
As like a
nucleus, the
solo
nucleus
DPS.
edition. Yeah. Like all you need is one nucleus, a ton of atoms, or even just unupgraded protons, and then tank
Yeah.
value. Like good tanks for the wave. That is all you need. This thing, when you have it like massed, is insane DPS potential.
All right, let's see if that's what he's gonna cook with. Shadow did pull out the Fiesta, has the Pixie,
Beast.
and his plan for the late game will be Gates for now.
Yeah. Now we did see Ashton trying to
Ooh,
play
this
Pixie
is
Fiesta. Didn't go very well for him though, did it?
yeah. I mean, he got himself into a reasonable spot,
Hmm.
but wow. Okay, just letting everyone know right away.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
champion.
Yeah.
Ashton does have Flower Seedling with 0 rerolls used. I don't even know how this roll is possible, but
I mean, he's a beast.
yeah. So he's got a pretty comfortable roll because Flower Seedling maybe has some problems come, 5, 6, 7, but that's what the Slime Mummy and the Coiler are for, so
Yeah.
probably doesn't need a reroll for a while, which is nice.
I quite like the champion usage actually there on the gate guard because obviously it means you don't leak to a snail on 1. It makes
Mhm.
you way stronger against anything that can come out on wave 2.
Yeah, and now it's almost a free 6 workers.
Yeah. I mean, if L1 like King Ups here, then it is an easy 6 workers from Xgod.
Yeah. Ashton, not sure why he's building so many seedlings. Oh, I guess he was. Oh no, he has to consider the possibility of 40.
Yeah,
Because
he
if
knows
Shadow
that
did
Shadow's
go,
on Fiesta, right? So, oh, Shadow
yeah, I mean,
actually sold
yeah,
one of the seeds to add this Ranger here.
yeah. I mean, this is the different playstyles we talked about from the
Yeah,
last Pixie Guess. It's like he goes to try and go for a better leak,
yeah, but he
which
still
is
leaks
what he got.
42%. Like, I can't remember how much it was that Ashton leaked. I think it might have been closer to 80.
Yeah, and he does get 60 out. Looks like, but only sends 20.
Huh.
Some rascal actions, maybe looking for that long save like we're talking about. Maybe wave 4 honestly looks pretty promising, right?
Yeah.
This is what you do when you expect to get sent on 3, but getting sent on 4 changes your plans a bit.
I mean,
And
he's
Ashton,
absolutely threatening like Hermit or even Mole on 5 as well.
yeah, the mole on 5 is really nasty just because all of a sudden your seedlings don't work. But maybe a combined effort on 4 could be better just for some king damage. We'll see what they go for. And he is creating a long wave. We'll get to that Hermit if he wants it, and probably Brute Snail available for, yeah, L1, and he does go for it, and we are going to see it. I mean, the first test. What do you have for us, X-God and Ashen? You know what would have been really nasty that if X-God had gone for it? If he had just stayed 5 workers and shifted, and he could have Harbinger here.
Yeah, that would be
But
pretty rude.
it would be a crazy read. I think I've seen Aviator do that like once before, and kind of crossed my mind just now, but it is a crazy play.
He was really
Ashen,
strong on 3, though.
yeah, that's the only way you can do it right with the Garg, but you have to read that they're going for.
I'm really
And it
interested
is a,
in Ashton's lane now because he has 2 flowers and a bunch of seedlings. Like, this is infinite AoE. Can the Hermit even out heal that?
it's all or nothing, right?
Yeah.
He's either holding or he's leaking the
Ah,
Hermit or he's leaking everything.
it
And it looks like
like
it's everything.
pretty much everything. Yeah, that's a clean 100 there for Ashton. That was really close to being all, though.
Yeah,
Like, this stuff was all on 1 HP.
yeah, that's brutal. And now he has 2 flowers on his board.
They're going to take so much damage here.
Yeah.
Like, the Hermit
and
keeping
Brute.
everything healthy as well is absolutely brutal.
Yeah, I would need one more spell. And yeah, wow.
I mean, this is
They got
kind
a
of
little bit
deja
of
vu, though, Offmer, because we did have them on pretty much this exact King HP in one of the games in the first series.
Yeah, for sure. I will say the difference in this game is that Ash and X-God are not ahead,
Yeah.
even after the sentence.
Yeah.
Because individually this time, Shadow and L1 are doing really good. And
And Ashton's been forced
they...
into like a really uncomfortable build, I'd say. Like 2 flowers,
Mhm.
5 seedlings. That is not the sort of build that you want going into like wave 7 and 8, right?
Yeah, and I mean, Shadow... Oh,
Is he going to have a Scorpion King? No, he actually
No,
one-shots
he
him.
has more than enough damage for the Scorpion King. It just, I guess Exod is going to farm some gold here for sure.
Yeah.
The question is, does that open up an avenue to, say, Wave 8?
I mean, it could, right? Like, they have a scary amount of Mythium already in the bank.
Yeah, like, as soon as L1 can get the big skeleton out, he's never gonna not cover, so...
He can't afford it yet, though, not without sending.
Yeah, he sold one of his for the Mudman already, so... Perhaps that's not on the cards quite yet, but even a Wave 7 play could be pretty nice. We'll see what they go for.
Alright,
Xgod
Xgod
going
full sending
for-
again.
Yeah.
I think that's quite a good read, knowing that if Shadow's going to save longer, he's just going to get really, really punished.
Yeah, we'll see what Shadow goes for. Didn't push insanely hard, so kind of playing around it a little bit, trying to get some kills. We'll see if that actually works or not.
This is really classic Shadow, actually. This is pretty much exactly what I wanted when I said I want him to go back to his roots. Like, he doesn't push crazy hard after a leak. He wants to kind of accept the resend and not do terribly against it. And that just means that he can afford to go longer.
That is not that good early game.
No, I wouldn't have built it yet. I actually said exactly the same thing in L1's stream earlier today. Like, you need the tanks first before you click the Nucleus button. I mean, he's going to do fine here because he received a Fiend and a King up, but I just don't think it's optimal build order. I think you need to add more tank value first, and then maybe like Nucleus on wave 8 or something.
Yeah, that makes sense. So they have a bit of Mythium here and there. But it looks like they kind of want to go 8, so they didn't really push. And Xgod keeps giving up Robo.
Yeah.
I think they're just going to die on wave 8, the way it looks to me.
I mean, they have insane Mythium counts. Like, Shadow's 260, L1's 230, Xgod and Ashton both already heavily undervalue. And Xgod just doesn't really have options. Like, he's adding more impact units here.
Yeah, I think they will literally die on wave 8.
Yeah, L1 already has Ghost Knight Mythium,
Yeah.
but Xgod does have Disciple, so that's something.
Yep.
Yeah, and here, by the way,
Shadows-
this is really worth pointing out. Shadow didn't push a single worker off that wave 6 end. So knowing that he can leak really hard again on 7, so he's accepting the leak here. This is kind of an okay Fiesta 62%.
Yeah, I mean, his logic would be, I have enough Mythium.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty reasonable. So
Well, if he had pushed even like 1 or 2 workers, this 60% leak would have been way bigger.
Yeah.
And then he's giving more
Centaur. Centaur to clean up all the Gargs.
I like that. I think the Centaur's really good. It's also very high HP natural unit.
Yeah.
Like, how is Xgod going to kill that?
I think he killed.
Yeah. And I think L1 will be able to reach a Brute as well if he wants it.
Yeah. And Ashton, I'm not sure what his plan is. With just the Coiler, he's in big trouble.
Yeah. The Mole into the mix as well means the Coiler can no longer two-shot the wave.
Yeah. I mean, he's trying to dodge the GK, but they're GK'n't.
Yeah. Alright, I'm really
This
interested to
Mole-
see this Centaur in Xgod's lane. 380 Mythium on wave 8. That's just rude, honestly.
Yeah. But this is exactly what they needed, right?
Yeah.
The Centaur is actually going to die eventually.
Yeah, but only after killing everything.
Wait.
Oh, it almost didn't die.
I think they're dead.
Yeah, I think they're dead as well. That's like an entire wave there from Xgod. Not much.
1.5 waves in a pack.
Yeah, the pack leader just amplifies that damage on the king as well, right?
Yeah. So, that's a good start.
Well, fantastic play there. Very, very happy to see Shadow and L1 go back to their roots here in game number 1, and a very, very well-deserved victory from these guys.
Yeah.
Look at that graph, Offmer. That is like absolutely obscene. I mean, it's an 8 wave game, so of course it's going to look odd, but Yeah, this was brutal from Shadow and L1.
Yeah, they got them good. We can say it like that. I think honestly, just kind of like X God's not really his fault because a lot of people would go six workers there, but his inability, like the fact that he couldn't hold there, just I mean, I guess you could also say Ashen's fault for going seven workers to no send. So both of them just being a little too happy.
Yeah, they got hyper punished there on 4, and then Shadow and L1, they just saw their opportunity and went straight into Wave 8 with these enormous sends. I think that's one of the biggest like Wave 8 sends we've ever seen on Nova Cup. That's crazy. 380 Mythium, wow.
It's not easy to hold that. So we'll see. Can they do the same without Fiesta? Maybe not, but we'll see if they keep up a similar playstyle.
Yep. All right, we have lobby open, so we are just waiting for the players now. We should be able to get game number 2 on the way. Remind me, what was L1's mastermind in the game just played?
I would say that it was
It was lock-in, right? He locks in Atom.
Proton,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Fiesta and Lock-in are down for Emma and the Circus.
Yep. And maybe we'll see what Ashton and Xwood go for.
All right. So, game number 2 is about to begin. L1 and Shadow fans obviously very happy with the way that this series has started, given that the first series was 2-0 against them. These guys are off to a very strong start here in the rematch. Let's see, can they 2-0 as we go into game number 2?
Yep, there's Ashton's tried and true 100% win rate pick.
We've got cash out from L1.
Will we see Stash?
They're thinking currently.
The Canadians both thinking about our mastermind.
All right, X-Guard with Kingsguard.
I kind of like that. Felt like they were just dying, so...
Yeah. So you've got one mastermind that can't upgrade the king, and then one that makes king upgrades more valuable. I'm not sure about that pairing,
Yeah.
but I can kind of get the logic, honestly.
Yeah, it's like, well, I would imagine Xcode is going to play exactly the same way he has every single Saboteur game, and we'll see if L1 can actually push off of the repeated Income King that he's going to get.
Yeah. He has a really good early game role, honestly, like Nightmare, Gargoyle.
Yeah.
Really strong for at least the first 7 waves, 8 waves.
Yeah. X-God going for kind of a cook opening, it seems.
Shadow's getting snailed because Ashton's on Saboteur. It won't leak him, though. Pyro from L1, that's something we don't see very often.
Yeah. I guess he felt like the best late game his role had to offer was Zeus War Daphne, so
yeah, I can see
this
it.
is his way. I mean, I think I would prefer to play Daphne.
Yeah.
Or Consort Gar, or like, yeah, Gargoyle Consort.
We had, Nightmare Gargoyle, right? Like,
yeah, you could have just played that as well.
That seems like an easy choice to me, but, you know, we'll let them cook.
Oh, he's cooking. I think he's going to get a lot of King Ups from X-Cloud this game, is my prediction. Shadow with the Cat Rat. And Ashton is going to snail him. Is that a leak? I don't actually know the cat thresholds on the team. We'll see. King up into L1, of course, and will the kitty be strong enough? I actually have never seen this, but it looks low value. It looks like it will go for a leak here.
Yeah.
And not that small considering we have a pack rat hunt, but he has stash, so he could pick a worse mastermind to leak early in with.
True. If that was pre-income from Ashton, though, which I'm pretty sure it was, then, I mean, he's very happy with that result.
Nah, I think he sent it post. Sadly. But he's still 6 workers. He's happy with the gold. And actually, L1 is going for a save here, targeting that wave 4. Maybe we are going to see the return of Brutus. And Xcode having a crisis here. Does he want the Aqua? Does he want the Atom? Can't really decide. Goes with the Atom. I think I like that. But either way, he's going to be fine.
Yeah, he's chilling.
Yeah, and the nice thing is he is going to be able to spam king ups, and L1 is going for the same recipe exactly.
Uh-oh.
So we'll see. How does Ashen do against Brute? I mean, he's not 7 workers this time.
I mean,
So let's
Cat's
have a
really
look.
good on 4, though.
Yeah. He's much, much better units. And, I mean, he can get 5 stack and a buckler pretty comfortably. Even a little Atom as well if he wants it. Or he could just go for... Well, that's probably his best bet. And that's what he goes for.
Hmm.
So, X-God himself... Kind of a weird build, because he has this angler that he probably can't upgrade for a bit.
It is 100
Maybe next
lithium
wave?
send for Ashton, so I would expect a leak here. I just don't think it's going to be too bad, honestly.
Yeah, let's have a look.
The Brute is on the Cat quite early, so that's good.
Yeah. I mean, the Atom didn't tank that well, but, I mean, it looks like to be a leak. Just not necessarily meaningful.
Oh, he even gets one more, yeah. So it's a Brute and 2
Yeah.
creeps. Like, when you're sending Palmerks this early, you want to get more work done than this, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And Exiled will cover as well, right? So it's not even the king damage aspect.
Mhm.
And Shadow is doing that annoying thing where he has 100 Mythium, but you're only gonna get 40 of it. And he's probably looking for a wave 7 play, I would imagine.
I could see 6 working as well.
6 could work as well. I mean, if he goes Fire Aqua, I'm less scared about 6, I feel
Yeah.
like. But if he did go for the bounty...
Yeah, if he went for the bounty, he'd be in trouble for sure.
Yeah. L1 shifting, I think mostly just to shift because he's Pyro. But I doubt he will actually build a Vor on his board.
I mean, his best play now is to reroll, honestly, but it's L1, so...
Yeah. That button is actually not available.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at these stash leaks.
Okay. Alright, he is going for the wave 6 then,
Yeah,
so we've
just
got
the
the
wave
first
6.
Brute.
And he's got a friend. But X-God will have the Power Valley on his side.
Yeah, but here's the thing, so because X-God received Ascend on 5, I guess he's
He pushed
less
0 workers.
wary about the wave 6 resend. Ah, never mind. Okay. X-God is just
Wow.
way too high APM for me to keep track.
Yeah, I cannot figure out what he wants to do. This Slime Siren looks kind of sus to me. That looks really close. But maybe it's enough value. Double Brute actually into Ashton, but he looks like he's got some good positioning with the Royal Guard as
Oh,
well.
Slime Mommy
And,
getting
yeah,
absolutely run
yeah,
over. That's terrible.
It's very bad positioning from X-God for
Mm.
sure. But maybe value can make up for it.
I think he's going to leak.
He's gonna leak, which is pretty bad.
Oh, and Ashton
And-
leaking 65 as
yeah.
well.
That
Okay.
is a pretty big mistake from Xcode. I think if he had went for his original plan of like Atom Aqua, it probably would have held. If he had moved the Slime Mommy back, it probably would have been fine. But like this, I mean, it's not like they're behind, but it's definitely not that good.
No, but they were really ahead. So Jules
Yeah.
had them at like 70% win chance, and they've just lost 10% of that advantage because of that Slime Mommy positioning.
Yeah, for sure. And now he has to do the awkward thing where he has to do this.
Yeah.
He's gonna try to leak L1 here with that Hermit L1. I mean, it's not amazing here. His Daphne is not gonna tank. His Daphne's not really synergizing with anything yet.
Yeah.
But he does have value, which we know is pretty good.
He even shifts a little bit, it looks like.
Feeling confident, kind of expecting 8. This Hermit doesn't have a friend because the Snail, I guess he felt like, is just gonna feed the Pyro.
Yeah,
So,
what's the point?
yeah. The rare situation where not full sending kind of makes some sense, so you can maybe think about an 8 resend.
Pyro not split
Um,
tanking at all, though. Is that going to
yeah,
bite him?
see, is value strong enough? I think value is, because that's a full Daphne still alive on his board. And kind of an optimistic full sun from Exot, I would say, with 8 workers, but
Hmm. Well, L1 does hold, so that really helps because he's kind of struggling.
yeah, I mean, that should help him out a lot and put XGod a lot lower. And that is exactly what we see. Ashen going for the pack leader, but Shadow does have a pack slayer ready to go. Will it be enough? I don't know.
Ah.
But XGod has a very weird situation where he's just 0 workers and not much to show for it yet. Obviously, as a kingpin, but still. So the pack leader is left, and oh no, the Aqua's getting one shot.
Oh, that's really unfortunate. The Berserker is at least killing the pack leader
Yeah,
nice and quick, but yeah, the Fire Elemental dying so fast is really bad for Shadow.
yeah. I mean, he will go for a pretty big leak, but maybe he can go a little bit more. It's not the worst, but not the best.
He's not stashed
And
yet, right?
yeah, yeah. I think he's still got it, which is good. I think even in these situations, it wouldn't save him too much to stash here, so
Yeah.
better have that mid-game surprise. So Ashen will be ahead. Xcloud will have the Kingpin as his way out, but I will say Xcloud has literally been plus value for like the last X waves.
Yeah. I mean, Shadow hasn't been pushing, right?
Yeah.
Shadow's applying a lot of pressure, but with quite low workers.
Yeah, I mean, he does have the pack rat, but here he makes the choice to get the gate. Makes a lot of sense looking at his build. 9 reset is probably what's expected. And wow, that's a Hermit after income.
Okay.
It could work. I mean, there's literally one unit on L1's board here. It's a pretty good unit, to be fair, but
But the Hermit's also very good against that one unit.
yeah. And and yeah, I mean, there is a Robo here as well. Looks like the gate will be strong enough. Or? I think so.
Yeah, and Shadow even got away
Oh.
with the hunt here, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's plus 15, so good hold from him, but they do save as well. That's the other thing. So they could look for this wave 10 play, wave 11 play with AOA. There's Lone as well, though.
Yeah, Lone makes like an 11 send much less appealing.
Yeah. Unless they go for income 11, which sounds not that good.
I mean,
when
what if
said
they
it
just
out
go
loud.
like 13?
Yeah, that could be the play, seeing DK here. The problem is holding. I don't really see how they can, especially if I saw an Ashton feel spicy and feel confident, and then they can go for something like AOA play,
Yeah.
even with just some small sends like a Robos or whatnot, but we'll see. I mean, the Kingpin is online, 100 stacks. He has the Pilgrim, I mean, he's got a lot of stuff coming for the next waves, so we'll see. Ashen with 200 income now, likely able to get the DK?
Yeah, he's really fat this game, actually.
Yeah, and this time he actually has something to help his DK. He has the Butcher. Not like his last DK that was kind of just by himself. And we do have some King damage coming in, or... Shadow,
Shadow.
can you... Oh, it looks like a good stash. Perfect stash.
Yeah, pretty good.
Unfortunately, his teammate also thought he was getting a perfect stash.
Yeah, less ideal when your teammate leaks as well.
And they will just save longer, so your plan was correct. The problem is if XGod and Ashton click a different button here.
Yeah.
I don't know if they will, but
If they do Lone here, the play is pretty good because then they lose income for 2 waves. Shadow and L1 have like an enormous wave 13 send.
yeah, the problem would be if they click one of the other buttons. Okay, loan from Shadows, loan from... So they are playing around the possibility. I wouldn't. Okay, Exile does go alone. I wouldn't hate just like counterattack. Like, yeah, okay, there we go. Yeah, and he goes Hermit. I kind of like this from Ashton.
Yeah, we'll see if it pays off.
But also Shadow with good recognition to actually loan and build on value here. Even got his Aqua to tank really nicely here, so
Yeah.
should do reasonably. And obviously L1 should be completely fine with that loan.
I mean, Shadow's Loan is
Yeah.
paying for itself here with holding this full resend.
Yeah, that's huge for him. And I mean, pretty nicely navigated by them, and they have the 13 angle opened up. The problem is Ashen has a nasty surprise.
Yeah. It's a bit of a risky shift for him, though. Unless he just
We'll
shows...
see.
Like, if he shows the Fire Lord here...
Yeah. Honestly, though, I could see him going for it. Like,
Yeah.
logically, it does not make sense for them to send here. Obviously, they could.
I mean, X-God's plus value, so...
Yeah, plus really good value as well. Yeah, I think I can see the shifting here.
Yeah, looks like it.
Although, I would say it would be a Shadow-like play to send 12, but
Yeah, I mean,
X-God's
X-God is
value
shifting as
is-
gold as well here, like...
yeah. He probably wants to pump out a full Halo out of nowhere, maybe.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they go for. I mean, they know it's a shift. They'll probably send double 4-eye.
But they have a
you
lot
know,
of
they'll-
Mythium. But there's no way
Yeah.
they can afford to save again.
Yeah. I think the send has to come in. Shadow's plan is probably to stash. Well, he's actually already kind of on value. Unless they skip with the stash.
They haven't sent yet.
They skip with the stash, it looks like.
My god, what are they doing, Offma?
Okay, he pops the stash. I mean, there will be one person holding here. I can guarantee you that. So they're going for a true one-shot on 14?
I guess.
15?
They'll have a lot of Mythium.
I worried that X-God will have so much gold from this leak, though.
Yeah. L1's going to leak everything here. Like, he'll
Yeah, and the thing
he'll
is-
honestly be lucky to kill a creep.
They have Kingsguard, right? Like, Ashton can just, or X-God can just go full King Ups next
Yeah.
wave, for example.
Yeah,
I
Ashton
just
cannot.
noticed that. Ashton cannot. That is true. Yeah,
Now-
there's a few creeps going through here.
He killed two. That's honestly best case scenario.
Yeah, I'm impressed at that much, honestly.
He
And they
nearly
do
killed
go.
them all.
It's just 14.
Yeah, Big Sen's
I
coming
mean,
out.
If
Will it be
X-God
enough?
just doesn't send here and goes full King Ups, which I think he would recognize that he should do.
It's going to be quite hard to kill them here on 14 because their values are
Yeah.
pretty high. And
High
like you say,
values and Kingsguard, like, yeah, and he oh, I lied. He sent the Hermit. Sorry.
huh?
Well, he can get the casket out. He needs to make sure he doesn't have a beta mill. He also needs to buff the casket. Well, actually, the Fire Aqua is arcane this wave, to be fair.
Mhm.
Okay, he's gonna buff the casket and then upgrade the small one, presumably, or upgrade the lower one, presumably. Yeah, they do get a couple king ups.
I mean, X-God's like literally on value. Ashton's not far behind.
They're both 3,400 value, which
Yeah.
is, you know, it's oh okay, and there you go. There's your favorite unit.
Huh.
The brutes are kind of nice here to slow down the Phoenix, but the Phoenix not really so much a damage dealer.
And there's not a single 4-Eyes on that Phoenix either.
Yeah, and it's gonna be hard with the DK now has both 4-Eyes on it.
Yeah, so that thing goes down pretty quick, and now the
But look
4-Eyes
at
are going to
these.
shred the Phoenix.
Look at these protons.
Meanwhile, in X-God's lane, I mean, he's leaking, but not terribly.
Basically full holding. They got Ashen Shutdown, but I fear the.
I
fear
think they're
that-
going to survive this, though.
Yeah, they're completely fine, right, with the Kingsguard.
They're taking a ton of damage, even through Kingsguard.
Yeah, it's kind of impressive, honestly. Needler and Pack.
Yeah.
But actually, there's also a ton of damage happening on the other side.
Yeah. And that's kind of, like, unprompted as well, right? Because it was only a Hermit's End.
Only a Hermit. Well, I mean,
Huh.
I'm kind of surprised we don't see something just like crazier,
Yeah.
but I would think playing aggressively now is your only chance. Playing normally seems like it won't do anything. But I'm not saying that playing aggressively would do anything either, to be fair.
Yeah, they're very, very far ahead now in terms of like the economic lead. Ashton's on 100 gold shutdown.
Yeah. And the nucleus will only scale as he grabs more and more tank value.
Hmm.
Well, his tank value seems to be coming in the form of DK, but I mean, they can kind of stay forever. 18, 19, wherever, whenever.
Yeah, they're not really under any pressure now. They're both overvalue, and they know that they can pretty much break their opponents whenever they choose.
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much. Um, Probably they'll see the values now and realize that they could just go 17 here.
Yeah.
They could just save longer.
Well, the thing is that
Beta
Xbox and
now.
Ashton are both still overvalue, right? So they're just not really feeling any pressure to send.
Yeah. Nor should they. 18 seems completely reasonable. 19 seems even better.
Oh, they go
17
17.
works.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, L1's got a pretty good build for 17, so is Shadow, but their values are so low.
Yeah. Some wishes against Shadow, probably some bears against. Yeah. And they will be on value, roughly, for Exgon and Ashton here. As on value as you can be in late game.
Mm-hmm.
2 Halos here for Xgod and some tank value.
Yeah, that's all he needs. I mean,
He
he's
needs to buff a
non-arcane
that's
unit.
not. Yeah, that would be a good start. Or Xgod?
Ashton has 3 DKs. I think he's just chilling.
Yeah. That's the tank value. And his Phoenix might even kind of smurf this wave.
Yeah. I tell you who's not chilling, though, is the guy with the full pyro board against Triple Bear.
That's only 2 bears, to be fair. But
Ah, okay. Well, he's holding then.
yeah, he's holding then.
Ah, wait, no.
And
What?
wait, what?
That's weird.
Impulse? Shadow with the gate spam, but doesn't look like it's quite enough.
No, I mean, he's doing quite well as well, honestly, but the leaks are
Got
too
his
much.
guy.
And they have no king upgrades.
Yeah, that's part of the problem for sure.
Alright, well, it looks like X-Crash have
Yeah.
evened up the series here, so 1-1 now in the last chance match. That means it really is everything to play for, Offmo, as we move into game number
Yeah.
3.
And how will they do without the Kingsguard, right? Because I will say, like, fair play to Shadow and L1. They found a pretty nice way to try and make that game interesting. And without that Kingsguard, we might have not been seeing a third game.
Yeah, I mean, they brought them, like, really, really low. And this, what was it, the Wave 14 send was pretty deadly, but Xguard just having an absolute blinder there kept deciding in the game, really.
Yeah. And, like, to think that it was like, this game started from Wave 6 with Xgod making a pretty bad mistake.
Yeah.
And still, they're there to recover, right? So
Yeah.
if Xgod doesn't, like, if he's holding 6, then this game is probably never ever close.
Yeah. I think Shadow maybe just leaked it a little bit too much through the early game to some. Because he was only getting snails as well, right? Like, there's a few times where he leaked 50% to snails. And while it's fine once, if it happens 3 or 4 times, then he's just giving so much gold over to Ashton that it makes their job
Yeah.
really, really difficult. Because I like their lines. I like the really kind of all-in play for 14. But they'd just given away too much gold getting to that stage. So Xgod and Ashton having 3.4k value each on 14 was just enough to keep them in the game. Like, honestly, if they have 100 value less on both players, they die there. Like, it's not
Sure,
really.
yeah.
I don't really have any doubts there. Like, they have snowbally builds as well, right? So, like, the
Yeah.
Dread Knight in Ashton's lane, Slime Mummy, Casket Casting in Xgod's lane, that sort of thing. Like, you only need one less unit or one more send, if they manage to push a couple of workers extra somehow. That's the difference between the leaks that they had in game, which were still pretty big, like 140% on Ashton, and just an enormous leak that they have absolutely no chance of holding on the king. And it really is quite close. Like, it looked pretty one-sided, this game, by the end, but honestly, I think it was deceptively close. And literally the difference between Shadow holding slightly better some of those early game waves could be the difference maker.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
I think that's a
Yeah.
positive, though, Offmo. I genuinely think
Yeah,
that's a
yeah, for
positive
sure.
because that means that they have like a very minor thing that they can improve on as we move into Game 3. And if they achieve that, they could very well be securing their spot in the semi-finals.
Yeah, and the other thing is Exod and Ashen don't have their preferred masterminds now.
Yeah.
Like, I think Saboteur has been Ashen's go-to so far today, and he's won every game on it, and he hasn't looked quite as comfortable in the other picks.
Yeah. It's kind of wild, actually, that Ashton is such a big Saboteur fan because I don't think anybody else picks that mastermind.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think it's truly a him like a only him playstyle. So
Yeah.
we'll see how he does without it this game. Hopefully he can still show us some of the same carry potential. Not sure what I'll go for. Maybe the lock and random as a choice here.
Yeah, locking random is I guess fairly similar to Saboteur in terms of like you get a nice early game gold boost. Is it 7 gold plus 4 income?
Yeah,
Yeah, so pretty good start on that one. I mean, he could YOLO as well.
he could. He could.
We were about to find out, guys, because game number 3 is here. This really is the last game of the show. The winner of this match will secure their spot in the semi-finals. The loser will be out of the tournament. So, game number 3. This is what it all comes down to. Let's go.
The redraw. Champion.
All right.
So this is basically what they had in the first game. And it's a pretty nice champ roll for Xgod. Could go for a pretty chill Nightmare roll. And Ashton has just a really solid early game roll. Argan. Ooh. Another champion has entered the arena. And the Shadow has Gate Guard if he wants. Could do Gun. A lot of different good options for his early game for sure.
Oh, a champion picked up from Shadow as well. Okay.
Interesting.
He has Gun Gargoyle. That's a really good champion role.
I'm so surprised that Xcode would prefer Poda champ here over Nightmare, considering his role. Like, that looks like an insane Nightmare role to me. Let's see what else is happening. We have some really strong openers as well. Casket Seedling. We'll see how Xcode pilots this, but I do feel like the Poda is worse than the Nightmare here for sure, with that kind of role.
Yeah, that's like a custom-picked Nightmare role, right? I mean, sure, it's missing
Yeah.
Butcher, but all of the support units are there with the Fist, with the Gargoyle.
Yeah, and I like Shadow's role for sure. Champ Gun really strong, especially with these early game units. Obviously, Wave 13 in the future may be a problem, but that's what the reroll's for.
Ashton still has auto send on, by the way. Like,
Yeah, hasn't turned it off in a while, it seems.
he's just an animal. What can I say?
And Shadow will be going king up into the Poda, it looks like.
Hmm.
So a nice chill 6 workers for Ice God.
Hmm.
And he rerolls away the Nightmare to end up with Zerker and Archer. I don't really like his role now. Or I think his role is good, don't get me wrong, but I feel like with the Poda it's kind of out of place. Like this feels like a role that wants to play around the melee units and then bring out the Poda for 13-15 rather than start with the Poda and build towards the melee units.
Yeah.
But let's see how he does it. 7 workers now for the Cascade Ceiling, 6 workers for Ashton and X-God. Shadow on the 5 workers because he literally can't push the 6th one yet.
But he is
But
getting the
he's not
snails
building.
here, so he's got a pretty clear path to 7 workers after this.
Yeah, he's not building this Garg, just knows that he's holding and then wants to push a bit more. So staying 6 workers is X-God. And same with Ashton.
Oh, look at that calculated hold there
Wow.
from Shadow. 1
Or
HP left
beast.
on the gun.
Precise. This is gonna be a long way maybe.
Yeah.
If the dog loses this.
I guess Ashton would have leaked pretty decently to 2 snails.
Yeah. But he does manage to hold, so now he's going to have options. He could go for the archer if you're really scared of 4. Could go second gate guard, could sack the cat, could go Oathbreaker. I mean,
Yeah, there's a lot of things he can do.
yeah, I mean, again, I'm just looking at X-God's board. I'm like, this board would look really nice with a Nightmare on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, he's just building perfect Nightmare units. So, let's see. L1 did commit to the second upgrade of Casket. What will X-God do with his Mythium now? He is going to be able to push to 8 or 9 workers. Ashton probably similarly going to go to 8 workers off that. And how is Shadow's Champ Gun doing? It is going
it is
for a
dead.
leak, but yeah. Small leak still, but
He has
but
8
not
workers
ideal.
though, meanwhile, so
Yeah.
it's not the worst.
Yeah, it's not like it's for sure pretty good for him. I'm more worried about L1 with these long waves and X-God pushing hard.
Yeah. Well, X-God is going for the full send. We
Hermit.
saw these hermits being quite deadly in the previous game. How will L1 do here? This unit is not the answer. This is how you full house.
It's certainly brave. I would think that going for orchids would be a better choice, but yeah, let's see. Let's see if the house is full.
I think there's a very good chance that L1 doesn't kill anything.
It's at least tanking the boss. Unfortunately, that means the Casket is not tanking the Hermit,
Yeah.
which is really, really bad. And Ascot instantly paying question mark because
Yeah.
these senses, there may be a small problem.
The wave is pretty low. Oh, if the casket got
Oh,
one more
God.
cast. But yeah, that is everything. So L1 didn't kill a creep.
Yeah. I think he's also about to have a similar problem in the next wave, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, he's losing so much gold here as well, right?
Yeah, he had 1 gold for the entire wave.
Huh.
And they take some king damage. Certainly not the start you're looking for.
I mean, I don't really know what L1 can do differently there. Maybe it's just 2 boosted infiltrators?
Yeah,
Then-
I think that's probably the best choice.
Like, you can at least kill the Scorpion King?
Yeah, the Scorpion King is always a good start. And yeah, I mean, well, he's plus 60.
Yeah, that helps. But this unit and all of these units are very bad on 6.
It's not ideal.
Honestly, it's almost a shame that X-God didn't just go for a post-income Hermit again.
That would have been pretty mean, yeah. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, there's a bit of split tanking now. Pole spot is going down. But the wave is also getting AoE down pretty nicely. And it does look like he will be able to hold with the power value. Shadow, on the other hand, is going for a pretty big leak, but he
Yeah.
is very undervalued, so...
But this is kind of a similar problem that we were talking about in the previous game, right? Is that he's leaking 50% against snails from Ashton. So
Yeah.
Ashton's not sacrificing any income. He's just scaling and getting the gold from Shadow's leaks as well. It's just
Yeah,
the,
for
the
sure.
best of both worlds.
Yeah, they're just both higher workers. Shadow is keeping up in income, though, to be fair. A little bit behind now, but his value is definitely a bit lower.
Hmm.
And Ashton will probably get will get tried on wave 8 probably. We'll see how he does there.
Yeah, I mean, X-God skipped a wave, and L1 just looks really bad on 8.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why you kind of had to start tilting your. Well, you need to click the reroll button probably, but also you like the infiltrators on 5 because they're good on 5, 6, and 8,
Mm-hmm.
and the casket is really good on 7. It's the only weak wave, so
And X-God
it
is
is a full
honestly getting
send.
away with murder here.
Yeah, that's pretty ballsy considering the priestess on his board, but
Full
and
send
Shadow
into Shadow.
is doing pretty good.
Yeah, but he's going to leak, and L1 is already in trouble on wave 8.
Yeah,
So, like, the
it's
longer
not
wave
ideal.
really doesn't help his teammate here.
Yeah, and L1's gonna go for some brutes of his own, but Ashen does have a gun as a
Yeah.
perfect 8 answer, or Archer.
I mean, X-God
Dealer's
is in,
choice.
like, Ogre territory as well. How does L1 kill an Ogre?
Yeah, I mean,
He
he goes
actually
for the
went for the
pack.
pack leader.
Honestly, pack leader is insanely broken on this wave, so I can kind
Yeah,
of see the logic of he wants pack and brute.
yeah, I can see it. It's extremely strong on this wave.
So how will Ashen respond? He's got one archer, he's got a cat stack, and he's got another cat.
Fully boosted Orchid, obviously pretty good for L1, but the rest of his build just looks so weak here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, best hope is one-shotting the pack.
Brute is down. I mean, the Orchid is killing the pack leader really quickly.
Kind of one-shot the pack, and now
Yeah.
the casket on the wave can do some work.
I'm going to call that a success for the Orchid. Does he
Yeah,
even
I
get one
would
more cast? Oh, nearly.
not quite, but
That would have been
basically got the
all.
job done.
Yeah. L1 very happy with this result, I think.
Yeah, the only problem is he was 9 workers when this started.
True.
So, I mean, he's doing the best with what he's at the spot he's in, but still not a great spot. Ashton burning now after holding that power mark sent.
I mean, Ashton's position here is just insane. He's highest workers. He has 32 income above the second place.
Yeah, but just a little bit. And X God is also in a pretty good spot. Yeah. I mean, this is just a tricky game.
Yeah. L1 and Shadow need to do something pretty special now to come back into this game. They're not out of it by any means. The game is not that one-sided yet, but they already have an absolute mountain to climb.
For sure.
Huh. Alright, when do they want to try and make something happen? It looks like Shadow's queued up a couple of power mercenaries here
Oh
for
my
wave
God.
10. He is
X got
taking
shifted.
long enough on wave 9. He does get the yellow guy.
X God shifted for a Theta.
Uh-oh.
It's probably gonna sell something for
He
it.
needs to sell, like, 2 gargoyles.
Yeah. I would be happy. I think he will be happy selling as well.
I think you just sell, yeah. There's no need to greed here. Like, if you get the Fatalizer and you hold this big send, you've just won the game.
Yeah.
There we go.
Quick maths. Perfect 0. My God.
X-God's math even better than mine. He sold a gargoyle and a fist instead of 2 gargoyles, and that's the perfect amount of gold. So let's
And
see.
this ogre is gonna sit in the split while the Theta just melts the boss.
Yep. 260 Mythium. X-God says, what? I mean, the Fatalizer is getting slowed down now, but it just does... Wait a second.
No.
He's going to leak the Ogre.
Got his guy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Ashen
Ashen
holds.
is completely vibing.
Ha.
It's a pretty
Meanwhile,
nice build, actually, yeah.
L1 leaks to the snails. Shadow won't be able to full cover.
Yeah, this is rough. And Venture in the game, pretty easy Venture, I would say, for
Wait.
Ashen, if he wants
The
it.
yellow guy's getting
But-
king damage. No, he's not.
Oh. I wouldn't be surprised to see Executioner for XGod, though. I mean, Venture is also completely
Yeah,
fine for him,
I
but-
kind of find Executioner quite underwhelming as a Legion spell, to be honest. Like, the gold it gives you is really quite low. Like, you're not going to reach allowance levels until wave 18 or so.
Yeah.
And the effect of it is just like a worse villain, right?
Yeah, I think in this case, my thinking is just that he's like the one way they lose is somehow they take big damage on
Oh, yeah.
12, and so like your teammate's probably gonna win the game with Venture, because he's top power score already. So if you just do something chill and take any defensive, but he also probably thinks that he can hold 12.
Look at the values here for L1 and Shadow.
Yeah, ballsy.
I mean, they want to make something happen on 12. I guess it has to be, right?
Yeah,
If
they
they
need to make sure something doesn't happen on 11 though.
Yeah, if
But it
they
looks
don't
like a pretty
send
nice
here
pro league.
on 12, then I think they're just dead.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice pro league.
Probably.
And Shadow is farming the Executioner.
But surely they send 12, right? Like, if they're allowed to
Yeah.
take this venture unpunished, and they don't send.
Well, that is not good.
No. No, it isn't.
And this may be in trouble against even just the Hermit.
And there's another deadly Hermit from XGod. Let's see. L1.
Yeah. In their defense, Ashen did have the bunk prepped. It's rough for them.
Yeah.
I completely forgot he's redraw, because he just kept the same role for 10 years.
The rolls do make this very tough for them. But the fact that they both kind of Sui pushed into the venture just looked a lot like a Wave 12 undercut to me.
Yeah.
But now their
I think they're
venture's
our
allowed
best
to go
chance.
off. And Shadow's going to hold at least, but L1 I do expect to leak decently against the Hermit Brute.
He is trending towards the power spike that might win them the game.
Oh yeah, the fourth Violet. Oh.
XGod even pulling out the emotes.
Yeah, he did one on 5 as well. That's the emotional
see.
damage, you know?
Yeah, I mean, XGod is a master of all forms of warfare, so...
Wait, they're just maximizing Shadow's Executioner by giving him extra leaks to cover.
Oh, wait. That's actually
Oh
kinda
no.
unfair.
And now they go for a full send into the
Into
venture.
Venture. Into maybe the... Well... I mean, he could build like a DK or Archer or something that's not good here, but...
Yeah, I mean, it looks like XGod's building for 14, but he's just going to be overvalued regardless.
Yeah, and oh my god. Look at all this value generation.
Well, they might even shift some gold
might
here,
shift, yeah.
which would definitely work in
And
favor
XGod's-
of...
Would help them.
No,
But he
XGod has
shifted.
full built. They both full built. Yeah. Well, I think when they see
Photo is
the
dead, I think.
when they see the 3k
Or-
value on both players, I think they know the game is up.
Yeah. Never mind, the Pota is completely fine. We're
Yeah.
beast.
Perfect tanking actually there from XGod. The
Yeah.
priestess tanking the perfect amount, staying alive, will die now. Actually, XGod will still leak.
Yeah.
Ashton, no.
Ashen Leakant.
No, he leakn't.
They went for a double 4-eye to try and counter like a potential big thing, but
Yeah.
there was no big thing, it was just small things.
That's quite
Um,
unfortunate.
Yeah.
I mean,
And now 15 is coming, probably.
yeah. They are getting king damage
Ash.
though.
Ashen could even pop an egg down if he wanted. But probably he's just gonna push, because he's already egg plus, yeah.
Yeah. This was always going to be a tough match for Shadow and L1. I really liked their play in game 1. Like, winning that game
Yeah.
on Wave 8 was really, really juicy. It's just a shame. Like they went for something kind of similar in Game 2, didn't work out for them, and now here in Game 3, they haven't lost yet, but they're in a very, very rough spot.
Yeah. I mean, if this trend continues, if they play them one more time, they'll win.
Yeah, true.
Let's see. Will it be 15? Will it be longer? Shadow thinks it's 15.
What do XCOD and Ashton think? They haven't sent anything yet. Yeah, they're going to go a little longer.
Yeah. And the Executioner gold is not too bad. I can't really see it. It was 16 last wave. Oh, it's plus 87. Sorry. You can see it at the bottom. So, not nearly as much as Venture, but
Yeah.
not
That's-
bad considering it also gives a little bit of oomph.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Like, it just
Yeah.
generally is underwhelming. So it's wave 15 now. Shadow's gained 87 gold. And
definitely like Shadow's on the higher end, I would think, with his build and covering all those leaks.
yeah.
Above expected.
Yeah. Well, XCOD and Ashton have pressed the worker button quite hard now. Will it be a 16 send? I guess it should be, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Kraken Bear from XCOD. Siege Rams coming out from Ashton. Alright. Can Shadow and L1 pull off a miracle here on wave 16?
Maybe. We do have the AoE. We have the Skybot.
Yeah, we have the Skybot. L1's just so undervalued though. Like, this unit is absolutely broken on every late game wave. But
Yeah.
generally you need to have like 4 upgraded Skybots to reach that kind of critical mass. And currently he has none.
Wait.
Wait, he needs one more.
Wait.
He can't afford one more. If they lose, that's the reason why.
They have one.
Ah,
of the
L1
four
has...
pilots.
No, he's got 5! That's one too
5.
many!
What a blunder.
Yeah, these ends are pretty big.
Kraken with 2 bodyguards of bears is walking down the lane.
Yeah. Wave gets topped
Kraken
up.
is full DPS, but
Shadow is killing a lot of stuff
kind
with
of
the
melting
execution.
the wave, yeah, with the 3 guns.
Yeah, but that's the end of that. That's 167% leak for L1, 100% leak for Shadow. They may yet live here, Offmer, but they're gonna give so much gold away.
Maybe not. It is almost 2 full waves. Or? Come on.
Not even
Wow.
close. Not even
Not even
close.
close. 1%. That might honestly be the lowest I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think
But
I've seen like 3, 4, 5, but
I mean, surely there's a path to victory here for L1 and Shadow, right?
yeah, right here.
Ashton has 85 workers.
Is that good? Is that any good?
It's not bad if you're a fan of X Crash. It's not ideal if you want L1 and Shadow to win.
Yeah. I think the play they see coming is Sui into Ashton, and Ashton's just like, whatever, I'll Sui first.
Yeah.
And XCOD is plus value, but I think even with this shift, we
Yeah.
cannot hold 18.
They just go for the 18 send. L1 and well, Shadow shifted a lot of gold here.
Yeah?
Will it ever be enough?
If L1 could pass him the Orchids, he would have a chance.
He can build a lot of
But-
wirelets.
And that may be what he goes for. He's got 5 on one side.
He's building more. Violet is his best unit here. Undoubtedly.
More in the back.
And then just rat spam.
Yeah.
Well, this gun needs to live.
That one is very important, yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like the rats should bodyguard it.
L1's boosting. That's a diff maker.
He is gonna
The
one-shot the
the gun
bear.
does live, and of course the violets one-shot the siege ram. The spell damage is kind of real here. The shadow has a
Yeah.
decent chance of holding, honestly.
He's kind of one-shotting with the spell.
The wave is kind of dead.
Well,
Nah,
yeah.
there's still one alive. That's unfortunate. L1 leaks 105%. Shadow did very well, but 121% leak there. And this time, I don't think the king is going to survive.
It's a
Yep.
good try, but not quite enough at this point.
The GGs come out. Very, very well played there from XGod and Ashton. A dominating performance here in game number 3. This is by far the most one-sided game, I think, of not only this series, but the whole day.
Yeah.
Look, I want to say kind of fair play to Shadow and L1 because we kind of knew going into it that these guys were the underdogs, but they played crazy well in the first game.
Yeah.
Like that 380 Mythium send on 8 was one of the most dominating performances that we've seen in a while on Nova Cup. So really, really well played to those guys. Game 2 as well could have gone either way. Like honestly, they had a fairly good chance of winning that one. I think they got them down to about 20% King HP, but not quite enough. And then here in Game 3, XGod and Ashton just kind of styled on them, I think, which is unfortunate, but very, very well played there to XGod and Ashton, who obviously deserved their spot in the semi-finals. So yeah, that's the games for the day, Offmer. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we had some pretty exciting ones. We had some pretty stompy ones, but it was a good day, and I think tomorrow should be even better with some probably, I think, all the top 4 seeds making it through.
Yeah, so from the other side, it looks like Worse Poles made it through. So that's Pakistan and Elon. And then Respectable Gamers, they won against King's Gambit in the last chance match. So yeah, that's our 4 teams decided. Pretty interesting stuff. So we should have some really good semi-finals ahead of us tomorrow, and I'm really hoping that I manage to pull off like a miraculous recovery overnight, and I can just talk properly on the stream tomorrow. That would be lovely. What you guys in the stream hopefully don't know is that I've been having coughing fits, and Offman's been covering me like an absolute beast during the stream. So yeah, massive thank you to Offma for being an insanely competent co-caster. Thank you.
Course, dude.
And a huge thank you to all of the tournament organisers and developers for hosting the tournament that we all know and love. And I hope you've enjoyed the show, but that is absolutely everything that we have time for today. I'll leave you with some more music, and we will see you back here again tomorrow for those semi-finals, which are set to be an absolute banger. So until then, guys, goodbye, and we will see you tomorrow.